Hey guys, what's up? Charlie Moore here with Kush with our next episode of Planting Seeds. Thank you guys all for joining us. So, for those of you that are just tuning into us now, we identified SDG number 14 as our theme and goal of the month of July. Why? We all want to be at the beaches and we all want to be playing in the water. And what is SDG 14? It's about protecting and the sustainability of life below water. So, today we have some phenomenal guests on board with us. We have three experts in talking about what they're doing as far as sustainable solutions below water. And we have three amazing performers in between our expert guests. So I just want to welcome you all to our next episode of Planting Seeds. So before we jump into our first guest, which is 1,000 Mermaids, a phenomenal group, I'd like to just play a quick video of what we did for our impact of Kush, teamed up with movers, teamed up with Town of Hempstead, New York City Parks, whole bunch of volunteers coming together and to show you guys what our call to action was this month and how we put it together and did a beach cleanup. So Steve, you could jump in and roll that tape. Hey guys, welcome back. So that was our beach cleanup. We collected probably close to almost 12 to 1,500 pounds of garbage. We're going to be organizing another beach cleanup, by the way. So anyone who wants to attend, stay tuned. Follow us on Kush. Join in. By the way, visit kushwear.net. Sign up to our newsletter. We'll be keeping everyone posted there as the next events. We have everything going on once a week. We're going to be doing something pretty cool. So 1,000 Mermaids. They're our first guest actually for today. An amazing group. I heard from them about them a long time ago, and I'm honored to have them on the show to hear about what they're doing now. I'd like to welcome Stacy and Shelby onto Planting Seeds.
Hey, Charlie.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
So I heard about you guys about, I would say about 3 years ago, while I was in the yachting industry, and I came across a gentleman who runs the program called Art Fort Lauderdale, and he told me about you guys, and I started investigating you guys. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is so amazing. Like everything about it, from the ecotourism perspective of it, of creating the dive sites. So I want you guys to really go in, explain to, and by the way, anytime you want to cue in your videos, because you have some phenomenal videos, just tell Steve, hey, cue in the video now. This segment is yours. But tell us about how 1,000 Mermaids started and what was the inspiration behind it.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll start with a little of the history of 1,000 Mermaids first. And we wanted to start by, of course, this started out as an art initiative. Our founding artist actually hand-casted people as almost Romanesque sculptures. And he had a client that came to him who wanted his wife sculpted as a mermaid to put at the end of his dock, by his yacht, on his at his mansion in Miami Beach, and it took quite a while to build this lifelike mermaid sculpture of his wife. And they came back to him after a few months of hard work and came to him and he said, well, I got some bad news. I lost my house, lost my yacht, lost my wife and going to prison.
Oh,
And I'm
whoa.
like, whoa, guess it's kind of a Miami scammer guy. But they're like, okay, well, what do you want us to do with this big sculpture, this mermaid? And he's like, just throw it in the ocean. Just throw it in the ocean.
Huh.
And I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea. And that kind of started the spark there in the of the art initiative. And we partnered with Chris O'Hare, who's been building reefs for over 30 years. If you're familiar with the Andrew Red Harris Reef and Blue Heron Bridge, popular dive site. Yeah. And he's got years of expertise. So partnered with him to really refine and build strong, stable reefs and take a process improvement approach, and turned into an art initiative to put out 1,000 mermaid sculptures all throughout Florida, bring and spread awareness about marine conservation, and also implemented using social media influencers to spread the word and connect to people that typically aren't, into the water activities and thinking about the ocean on a daily basis. Really using that art component and a unique dive location to attract more people to being more aware of marine conservation. And fast forward to where we are today, we've really gone beyond and expanded into all kinds of educational and research programs. And our recently founded organization, ORA, the Ocean Rescue Alliance, Steve, if you want to pull up the bubbles, our mission is to save our oceans one reef at a time. And we're aiming to conduct sustainable restoration through incorporating these objectives. And our artistically crafted reefs enable every individual the opportunity to create an eternal reef for their loved one or company.
Wow.
Yeah, and through the creation of these reefs, they're designed to incorporate art, innovative designs, and also safe materials to enhance marine habitats and provide a unique diving location, creating a lasting memory on the ocean floor that will help restore our marine environments. And our education program seeks to empower and inspire our future generations to maintain our marine environments and keep learning and restoring our marine environments as well. It's also coupled with our citizen science program, the Coral Rangers, where we engage our local communities in reef monitoring and coral restoration efforts. And our research investigates design improvements, fish population dynamics and recruitment, coral planning, and improving making restoration progress. So a lot of our goals are oriented to spread awareness and create lasting habitats that will last for generations to come. One thing I briefly wanted to touch on was some of the uniqueness of our design modules actually help increase biodiversity of fish species. We are aiming to target mimicking real coral reefs. So we have a lot of interstitial spaces and shelving that provide habitat for those smaller species and life stages of fish, where traditional artificial reefs tend to target large species. Our habitat has micro and macro habitat where small fish species can take refuge from predation. So it's really important for biodiversity. As reefs are starting to degrade, we need that habitat for other species. Otherwise, we'll lose them. And so that's one of our really big target goals, is on top of the art, is to really actually create effective habitat for different fish. And we're also out planting coral, and that'll lead me to hand it over to Stacy to talk more on our education program, research, and the coral lock design. I think she's reconnecting. There we go. Stacy, we're going to let you talk on the education program and research. I think you're muted.
You're muted, Stacy. She is muted. Uh-oh, we don't have no from Stacy.
Yeah, there we go.
Here we go.
Is that better? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I started a group of students we call them Coral Rangers, and they're middle schoolers and high schoolers.
Yeah.
And that was last year. Last summer, we had 8 of them that were open water certified in scuba diving. And this year, if we can get it back out in the water, we're hoping to be able to get them out on the reef. So the major point of our education program is to include everyone. And then specifically with the students, I feel that hands-on education is critical, and it allows for everyone to be a citizen scientist and to learn that time after time in science, we try things and they don't always work out, but the importance is to learn from your mistakes and keep moving. So it's a good, fun opportunity to get everyone out and everyone involved. And We also do a lot of local events, festivals to raise awareness. We did Tortuga Fest last year, and
Cool.
so we have a lot of outreach through those initiatives as well, and we're always open to doing fun, interactive.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no, we lost Stacy.
I guess I can pick up in the meantime. Yeah, we have a lot of different events and dinners and fundraising events that people can get involved with, beach cleanups. And of course, the Coral Rangers program is something Stacy's put a lot of effort. Oh, you're back now. We lost you for a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
You want to join back in about, I think you're leading to the research stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear me now or not.
We're good. You're good.
Okay, perfect. So we deployed our first set of modules last August, and so we've been able to get out there quite a few times now. And I don't know if Steve has showed one of the other clips yet. I don't know if Shelby, if you wanted to let him know which one of those would be best to show now, but a lot of that has some footage of how.
Yeah, I like how she's leading into that because you're showing that footage. Because I know the video she's talking about. And
yeah, if it's the last video, Steve, if you want to pull it up, she might come back on. I can talk through it in the meantime if her connection comes back.
By the way, that's an awesome net on your wall behind you.
Thank you.
Very nautical.
Got all the nautical themes here.
I love it.
This was the Coral Rangers video. So this was some of a lot of the kids' involvement that we have, taking people out diving. So we really love getting anyone involved. Doesn't have to be kids. Anyone can sign up and dive with us. Here's this video. Here.
And this is, I believe, one of our check-in dives that we were able to get out with everyone. So it was like the first time out in the water. So it's really impactful to be out there practicing those skills for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I have probably about 40 or so students that are interested in the program. Not as many get their scuba certifications, but they all want to be part of that and out there. So there's a lot of opportunities for that.
Who wouldn't want to be on a boat in the ocean, diving and building a coral system? And we lost Stacy again.
Oh man, it keeps popping off. I guess I could pick up on the research. So we've been really heavily focusing around improving our module designs, and as we were just talking on the fish side of things, we're looking at a lot of coral restoration innovations. So we recently have implemented the Coral Lock into all of our modules, which is embedded to increase coral outplanting efficiency. And we're doing all kinds of studies comparing our modules and new designs to make them more efficient in the future. We'll actually have another deployment in a few weeks. So we're looking forward to that. And in August, we're going to be implementing for all the divers a lot of we have a selfie tail underwater, which you can see that on our page. So if you come to our site, come take a selfie at the mermaid tail. But we're also implementing some.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
We're implementing some swim throughs and interactive things for divers to take part in. But you can also really enjoy the beauty of the reef, and we hope to be outplaning coral soon. So we'll definitely need help with that for any divers that are interested in coming out with us.
I love this, what you guys are doing. I mean, just the blend of art, education, and impact all together. And not for nothing, I mean, you're creating such an experience. This is a very, very unique experience that's second to none. I mean, where else are you going to dive and see, mermaids in a reef underwater? I think it's absolutely phenomenal what you guys are doing. That's why I was like, I need to get them on this show. Because we're talking to the majority of our audience with Kush is this under 30 group. And we want to show them that there's so many of us out there doing tangible, sustainable solutions, not fluff, not snake oil, but actual tangible solutions. And I want to introduce this whole audience to it. So maybe we might inspire some people that are listening in right now to say, you know what, I want to be a part of this Thousand Mermaids. And that's the whole point of really conveying this message of let's come together as a collective and start building solutions together. So tell us, how has COVID impacted you guys, or has it impacted you guys? Because you are technically, relatively secluded when you do the dives, but I know in the labs and such, where you're growing the corals, has there been any obstacles?
Yeah, I think there's obstacles with everybody. Luckily, just kind of as you said, we're mostly secluded, and so a lot of our monitoring dives follow a lot of the common procedures now that we're having less people out on the boats anyway. But we've been actually busy as ever. We've been hoping to get some international reefs started in some other projects that we have going on, and really building out our programs and planning our events. So, although it's been a little bit of a hindrance for everyone, and everyone, not getting out as much, we're looking forward to what the future holds. And it's given us the ability to kind of sit back and build up and ready for when everything opens again and more people to get involved. So we're looking forward to collaborating with a lot of different groups. We're hoping to work with Seacor and CRF and a lot of other institutions. So we are all about collaboration. And just as you were speaking to, it's extremely important today in today's world to get things done.
It really is. I mean, it's the human connection.
Yes.
Utilize the digital technology to optimize communications, but it's that human connection that's going to just drive everything. So where I know your sites would be ideal to be, ideal water dive sites. So where are some of your next potential locations that you guys are looking at expanding upon?
Yeah, so we've got a few international interests in Barbuda and potentially in Mexico, and Cozumel and Tulum. We're looking at some other areas as well. We're further going to be building out in Florida and hopefully the Keys soon. We're trying to target the Keys because we'd like to start with coral restoration as soon as we can. And right now in Florida, that's one of the main places that it's permitted for coral planting at the moment. But we really have endless opportunities. Our whole mission is, saving the oceans one reef at a time. So we're planning to put reefs anywhere that we can and help in any way we can. And just as you were speaking to with the human connection, going back, I think one of the most beautiful things about the project is the art component and the memorial reefs component as well. And it really gives us the potential opportunity to change public perception and people's relationship with the ocean, and making it a lot more personal. If you think about it, if you have a loved one that has a reef, maybe you'd think about on a daily basis, use less water, recycle, or use less plastic. And especially, we're really fortunate in Florida to be surrounded by beauty in the water. But in a landlocked state, it might be a little harder for people on a daily basis to be aware of how their actions actually impact the ocean and life underwater.
Yeah.
So tying in that memorial aspect enables us to really make it a little bit more personal. And then it still has that beauty in a sense of, if you can buy a family reef, and versus like a cemetery on a land reef, now you're getting to have a whole different type of experience when you visit your loved one instead of
you are.
Yeah, you are. Instead of going to a traditional cemetery and seeing a tombstone, it's a little bit grim and depressing. And now you're able to go dive and experience just all the life that's surrounded on the reef. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things, is changing that relationship too. Your loved ones contributing to saving the marine environment, and it makes it a lot more connecting with people and getting people to care a little bit more about the ocean. We're also looking at partnering with hotels, and one of the potential hotels we might be working with in Fort Lauderdale is the Hard Rock, and we might do a guitar-shaped reef with each position being a different musician.
Wow.
And so that's the really neat thing about as we're expanding, we're doing all types of art, not just the mermaids. We're still going to put out 1,000 mermaids, but we're going all far and beyond. And hopefully in Mexico, we're trying to tie in the Mayan culture and doing more culturally driven art perspectives. So we'll hopefully create unique diving locations, but also have a really impact on the local community and tying in cultural and personal and restoration ties. So
That, I love it. I love how you're expanding this out, and it's so funny too, because when you were saying like get that family reef, you are going to get that experience. I'm thinking in my mind like, wow, that's a unique experience. Like that is intimate, but it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so let's go back to any new listener who really doesn't know anything about reef systems or what the impact of reef systems can do and why. And my one question to you guys too, and we go into this a little bit, is do your reef systems increase the population of the mollusks? Like, do the mollusks adhere to them? The oysters and clams and mussels. And the other is, give some of these listeners why is it so important that we preserve a reef system? Because it's crucial, especially along our coastal shores.
Definitely. So I'm sure you might have heard reefs are the lungs of the ocean. They're extremely biodiverse and help with all kinds of production on land. They sustain our fisheries. Most people's livelihoods depend on it, and also protect our shorelines from erosion. So there's a multitude of benefits that the reefs can provide. And as far as location dependent is how you're going to judge what kind of species will live there. So as you were talking about oysters, there's different intertidal areas that oysters can grow on. On our site specifically, I think Steve might have a photo. Do you have a picture of that mermaid with all the growth on her? If he can throw that up. We target, essentially, it's a lot of sport fish species and all different types of fish that live throughout Florida, a lot of tropical fish. So it just really depends on the zone. Our current site that's down off of Riviera Beach is about 45 to 50 feet of water. It's a good dive site. That's actually a memorial reef we're going to be putting down on our next deployment. This was Kevin McMathie. He was a firefighter and unfortunately passed away. And it was just amazing. So many people came together to support building a reef for him, and his fiance is expecting a baby girl, and hopefully one day she'll get to come and dive the reef to see his memorial.
That would be an honor to go see. Yeah. That's amazing. That's a real memorial. That's beautiful. So deployment. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm just curious.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I was just rolling with the pictures, but in reference to the reefs are extremely important. So the most important thing is we're helping really establish habitat and alternative, as well as provide an opportunity to outplant coral. So as our reefs degrade, it's extremely important to create that habitat, and it also helps with coastal protection.
So what are some things that people could be doing right now? Let's talk, because there is a distinction. You have the coastal people that should be more proactive and aware, and then you have the inland people. Okay, so let's go with the coastal people. What are things that especially boaters, okay? Because I'm an avid boater. I lived on a trawler for years. I had a blast about it. I was very proactive about making sure that I had no waste that could go overboard, and any waste that potentially might have gone overboard is a biodegradable waste, So I never really carried any plastics or anything with me on the boat. But what are some things that people could be doing right now that you can, like, here's a chance to say anything. Like, tell people what to do and what not to do, and be stern about it too. Like, really baseball bat them in the face if you want,
Yeah, no baseball bats, but here we have a lot of issue, of course, with anchor damage. It's something that's a big problem we have, because if people aren't underwater, they don't know what's down there. So unfortunately, we could go out and outplant a whole bunch of coral, and then someone comes through with an anchor and just knocks it all back over. So there's things like that we have issues with, of course, here locally. And then just, I think, monitoring the nutrients that you put in your lawns. Even a lot of people don't understand that all the waters lead to the ocean. So when you are watering or over fertilizing the grass in your yard or at a golf course or anywhere else, that eventually is going to get into our waterways, and then that feeds our ocean. So all the beachgoers that hate the amount of like brown algae and the seaweeds that are out there, it's because there's a lot of nutrients in the water. So just by you limiting your nutrients in your lawn, you can help with that as well. And sunscreens, of course, are another thing that's a big topic right now, trying to make sure it's a reef safe sunscreen if you're going in the ocean.
Dive into that a little bit more. Stay on the sunscreen for a minute.
Stay on the sunscreen? Okay. So
I've been thinking about this recently, and I think a lot of people don't realize the impact of sunscreen. So
Yeah.
going to tell this audience what it does.
Yeah, so there is some research that's saying that the different chemicals that are in sunscreens actually impact the larvae in the coral and fish also, so they aren't able to form properly. So it's not just that it's affecting the current adult population, it's actually infecting future populations of all of our marine life. So it's definitely something to watch out for. So, just make sure it says reef safe on it. And there's a lot of nanoparticles that are a problem. So, but if you could go with a good reef safe sunscreen, then it's a big thing. You don't realize how many times you slather that on every time you go to the beach. So
Yeah.
good for us, but not so great for the ocean.
No, I'm not a sunscreen person. I don't burn.
Mhm.
I should be. I don't know what the sun is doing to me, if it's helping or not. But so,
No, probably not so great for you. So wear sunscreen, just the right kind. That's
Yeah.
so
And just sticking to the reduce, reuse, recycle is definitely key
Yeah.
with everything.
Yep.
yes.
So
So what is it when you guys dive? What makes you pick a site particularly? Are you picking a damaged site or a site that has nothing there?
Our sites right now are based off of permitted zones, and the county chose that for us. So it's an area where they were already putting out artificial reefs, and they want to broaden that range, or they want to bring in in our case, art pieces as opposed to just rubble and pilings and things that demo objects that are just kind of deposited there. So that's how our counties work. And we always are, at this point on our reef right now, we have a lot of artificial reefs around us, but in other locations, we'll just put them on sandy bottom. And there's about a 250-foot leeway between where we can put things down and where the natural reef is. So those were all county and state permitted guidelines that we abide by.
and each county can be different, and as she was saying, so we're going off of what the county recommends and what they're asking for. But we can also we're potentially looking at in Port St. Lucie, doing a snorkel reef. So that'll be kind of nice because if you're not a diver, you can just come right off the shore and snorkel it. Just similar to the Blue Heron Bridge. So we're hoping to move forward with that, but it is dependent on the county, and that's what we're waiting for.
And how long does it take before you guys start seeing ample life hit that reef?
Yeah. So right now we have we've been out 9 months now, and I'm sure we have a video that we'll show in a second that's regarding all of that. But within a month, we start to see things growing on the modules. It's mostly algae, and then eventually barnacles and so on. But I think that in the Riviera Beach case, we were down a month after, and there were already a lot of fish out. We had a huge snook aggregation that was out there, and then we have a turtle and a stingray that's in one of the videos also that's kind of there pretty frequently. So this is the RBM reef. This reef has been out there about 10 to 12 years, but this is our reef about a month after, and that's a southern stingray he's been there almost every time we've been out so far.
Wow.
So I mean it's pretty quick. I mean, they find exactly what it is that they want, and that's the mermaid tail we were talking about.
And if you looked at the one picture he showed earlier, that was a day after the deployment, I believe. But we got significant growth pretty quickly. And one of the images, Steve, if you have it, of just the mermaid with the growth on it. Do you have that? Let's see if we can pull it up.
You're keeping Steve on his toes tonight.
I know.
We think about
another one?
pictures and videos, or like, Steve, could you do that?
Might be another one. We can keep it.
That's
Another one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the selfie tail. If not, it's okay. You can see it on our social media or the website. We have a mermaid of just kind of, she almost has a encrusting sponge bra.
Yeah.
And it's really unique.
Funny.
Yeah. I have a lot of different epiphytic growth, which is really good. That's the first stage of essentially you'll have different stages of growth, and that will eventually lead to coral growth. And you can call it a successional stage, more sciencey term. But so it's really good news for us because that's the first step to start growing coral and having that healthy microbiome all over the modules. So check out those photos on our website.
Yeah, I just want to reference out to anyone and everyone that's listening right now that, absolutely go check out Thousand Mermaids. Support this organization. They're phenomenal. And, so with your next steps and with COVID, I know you have your education program coming up with students wanting to get engaged. Can people start getting involved now?
Yeah. So the great thing is that a lot of what we need to teach people is available online. And here in Florida, they did a great job of putting some of these resources available. So as soon as I find a good platform, I send it out to any of the students that are interested, and then they can start to review those things at home. And then once we're able to get out in the water and it's a little easier for everyone to get together, then we'll be able to start practicing those skills in the water. And then a lot of the open water certifications, they can do those online components, and then we're just pending those check-in dives and physically getting out in the water. So everybody can still do a lot of the groundwork in advance of being able to do stuff with us. But a lot of the monitoring that we're going to be doing is a lot of learning and just figuring out how to do things underwater and navigating everything. So there'll definitely be opportunities until we can get back out there.
How often are you both diving?
We try to get out at least monthly. Doesn't always happen, but we try to get out there at least monthly.
That's cool. So
we might dive more, otherwise, but our sites.
We dive a lot. Yeah.
Well, I am absolutely planning on coming to visit you guys, and you guys tell me when. I'm a snorkeler, so you can throw me in the shallow end. I'll be with the kiddos, and
visibility is great. I heard it's like 50 feet right now, so if you're snorkeling on top, you can see our modules in the bottom right now. But I can't guarantee as the months progress what'll happen with visibility. But we'll get you out there. Maybe you'll get scuba certified too.
I will. I plan to. That is all. Now, so how many sites? How many individual mermaids do you guys have now?
So we currently have about 18 out, and we're putting about another 25 to 30. We're going to be doing some different sculptures on this next deployment, which we're excited about. We'll be still putting out some more mermaids, but we're also going to be doing that interactive modules where we'll have some swim throughs for divers, and we're also testing out some more of the coral locks as well.
And how long does it take to make one of these sculptures?
So actually, it can go pretty quickly. Our reef builder can knock out. I think it was about almost 5 in a day. If he has molds essentially that he makes and has a cement mix that he's able to pour it into. So it can actually be made relatively quickly. It's just getting the transportation is the harder component, where you have to transport them on a barge and lift them down with a
logistically unique with that. How much does each one weigh?
About 3,500 to 4,500 pounds. So it's heavy.
Legit logistics. Okay.
Yeah.
The crane and the barge boat and
yeah, it's not a small operation. It's a whole undertaking.
And they're all
documenting that coming up. So it'll be neat to see that from start to finish with the next deployment.
And they're also heavy just to help prevent for storms, erosion, and everything. They're all stability test analysis. We had to get that done to be able to put them out there, so they're not moving as much with different storms.
They mandated you to have to get that stability testing done?
Yep. If you want to.
That's pretty funny as they just drop debris down and random chunks of concrete.
But they do a lot. Like pilings out, big culverts out there, but like, nope, gotta do stability analysis.
I think you guys are phenomenal. Now, where's your headquarters based out of?
Fort Lauderdale.
You are in Fort Lauderdale. Oh, that is awesome. I'll definitely be seeing you guys possibly this November. Good.
Come see the facility. We can bring you out. You can see where the sculptures are made and the reef modules, and as well as the site.
That is awesome. And
I have a brand new site too.
I can't wait. What would you tell anyone listening in now that you guys are so passionate about this? And it's amazing because you're passionate about something that gives so much back for the future, to build the health of the future. And that's what KUSH stands for. It's keeping us sustainably healthy, to bring that future together. what can you tell people that have that passion and how to find that engagement and get involved? Because I bet, 10 years ago or so, you guys probably never thought in a million years you guys would be planting these big giant concrete mermaids in the bottom of the ocean. Or maybe you did, which is even wilder.
No, I never thought we'd be doing something on this level, but since like 5th grade, I wanted to do marine biology. So I've always known I wanted to be out there. So this just kind of happened, and I met up with people, and we find some like-minded, awesome people, and then just get a plan together, and then start to make it happen. That's kind of how things work, and then, of course, we are very, very passionate about it, very engaged in everything we do. So that also is really beneficial.
Yeah. And I also grew up in Florida, loved the water sports, everything like that, and grew up diving and loved coral reefs from the beginning. I'm finishing my PhD right now with the University of Florida, and still working with the Florida Aquarium as well with the coral restoration project on spawning a lot of different endangered species, including the pillar coral. And so I've been wanting to infuse my passion with actually doing sustainable restoration. And there's a lot of different political holdbacks that can, just with different organizations, hold back actual growth and restoration, and falling in with this organization. And really just the beautiful component of the art and memorial reefs, I think, makes it really unique to couple with that restoration. So we're all a really passionate group, and we come from different perspectives. And I think that's what's so nice about it, is we can all work together for a similar goal and hopefully make a big impact. So we're welcoming anybody that can help. Everyone can.
This is awesome. Now, do you tie in with a lot of the local fishermen? Like, do you go get hands-on with them and tell them about where your sites are so they possibly won't damage sites and such?
Yeah, we actually work with several local fishing charters, and they're very aware and help also inform the people that they bring out on their boats. And we also work with local dive charters. Actually, every Sunday, we have local Calypso dive charters been taking people out to our site. So it's really nice to also see the impact on the local community of what this site actually brings, and them taking ownership in the site and spreading the word. And we've had a lot of dive charters. So we're also building a further dive program to get more of the dive charters involved. And as we grow, to get more sites, and you can go see 1,000 mermaids and also the Aura sites all over the world eventually.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So with Kush, we're here for you guys. Anytime you guys are doing any events, broadcasting anything, think of us as just an extra megaphone. Keep us in tune as to what you guys are up to, any events going on. I would love to further figure out a way that we can really work together and just bring this message of the restoration of the reefs. I'm so for it. It's, being on the water in Long Island, New York, and especially having a lot of the sewage runoff right off the coast. And it's, just brown waters, and just, it would be amazing to see and show the impact of what you guys are doing into other municipalities that are tying in together. So how do you guys focusing on like expanding into, say up the East Coast, for instance? Have you started talking to like states like North Carolina or South Carolina, or even up as far as New York?
We would like to definitely expand, and just as you were saying, everywhere needs reefs. It helps provide coastal protection wherever it's at, and also provide habitat for fish. You have fish there too in New York, and it's different species, but it also creates a nice dive environment that can benefit the local community. So there's a lot of really good incentives also just from an economic standpoint for these different counties to implement these reefs, but it's also going to have a really big biological impact. So we're working on trying to expand it as much as we can, and hopefully we can get some outreach and other states involved, and we'll see where the future takes us.
Yeah, we're open to to any kind of collaborations with any entity that wants to build anything really. That's the great thing with our project. You'll see all the different renditions of modules, and we're always looking to develop a new one. We're doing a lower profile module for this deployment to help with a little more ability for those snorkel trails in the coastal areas. But yeah, we're open to build anything, and it's always fun to build something new that we haven't built yet. So we're open to it.
Yeah,
I would like a statue of a guy holding a pair of nunchucks I love my nunchucks. I'm gonna help you guys. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna
Do it.
everyone listening in. I want help to build a statue of nunchucks. Okay.
We got you. Yeah, that's the nice thing. We have for any creative capacity that you think of, we can do it. From plaques to individual sculptures to a whole linked reef, and that's the nice thing is anybody that wants to work, we can do whatever you can dream of. Hopefully.
I didn't even know you guys did the family memorial. I think that is so beautiful because you're putting something everlasting that's creating life from that memory. And it gives you this experiential reason, like you said, it is gloom when a little bit of gloom. Like, when I go to the cemetery, my father passed away and I go and it's just, I'm looking at a stone, and he was a big fisherman. I think it'd be great if I could just jump in the water and just see a memorial to my kids and say, look, your father, your grandfather fished in this area, because there's a big reef off Long Island called the Atlantic Reef. I mean, they put subway trains down there and the whole nine, but it's you definitely met the right and another team to help create a massive voice for you guys. Everything that you guys are about, myself and I could talk for my team. We're in full support of. That's why we wanted you guys here to speak to our audience, to tell them what you guys are up to, and let's start getting them to start engaging with you guys. And I always tell everybody, alone our voice is but a soft whisper amongst the crowds, but together as one, our voice will echo. And that's the whole point of this. And that's why we pick out a specific SDG per month to talk about. This is the life below water. You guys were a necessity that I wanted to speak volumes to the world about, because it's again, tying in the art, education, and impact all together. It's such a unique approach, and it's the gratitude you guys must feel every time you put a new reef down. It just must be amazing. You guys must wake up every day saying, all right, this is a phenomenal life. Let's build more corals.
Yeah. Do something else. Yeah.
It's really great to share it with people, and I think it's so nice, like as you were saying, just to take ownership in the reef and hopefully get more people to take ownership in the ocean. So
that's and people need to care about the ocean, even though most of us, I mean, actually the majority of the population does live somewhat relatively on the coastal land. Really do need to care about it, though. Even if we never visit the beach or never go in the ocean, doesn't mean that we should just neglect our understanding of impact to it. So, all right, you guys have about 3 minutes. I could still show the project overview video. That overview video, and I want you guys to lead off and think about this while the video is going. Lead off our audience with a high note. Give them a call to action. Give them something that they should be focusing on and doing, and how they could support you. All right, definitely. Steve, hit the video, and then they'll jump in with that impact statement, buddy. Thanks.
Awesome.
That
Here we go.
cool. All right, so that was all. By the way, that was no joke logistics. Once I saw that big blue at the end of that barge, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Not small,
coordination.
definitely.
Mhm.
So was that gentleman that we saw in the video? Is he the master sculptor?
He's actually our reef builder. He's engineered and built all these modules, and also is very crafty and hand skilled. So yeah, he'll
He also it's coral lock inventor too. So all of our ability to do future outplanning is based off of his continual innovation of all these different things. So it's like super amazing.
So
Yeah.
you're saying coral lock. Explain just briefly the coral lock.
Yeah, so that will be what we'll be putting coral out on the reef eventually. So all of our modules, or a lot of our modules, have those already included in them, and we'll be able to then grow coral in a lab, or be able to transplant it over and then put it on our reefs so that it can grow on our reefs and repopulate the ocean.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That is so cool. And I loved when we saw that video segment too of just showing your showing the lab growing the corals. I have a coral tank myself. I love my corals. It's so mesmerizing and meditative to me. And it's just, so I can imagine sitting in the middle of this ocean and just seeing it, that this was yours, that you grew, now living in this environment.
Mm-hmm.
And quick to the aquarium trade hobby too, of you having your own tank. We also have little mini mermaid frag statues that we'll be bringing to Aquashella this year, so you can put your frag corals in your at-home aquarium and have a little mini artificial reef in your at-home tank. So look out for that.
You just got me so excited.
I'll send it to you later. I'll send you a picture. But yeah, I guess as a quick note, definitely anyone can get involved, donate. Every donation helps. We have merchandise. The Mermaid Frags is a lot of dinner and fundraising events. People want to dive, even if you're not a diver. We still need help with education and outreach, and of course spreading awareness, social media. Anything that anyone can do to help is good. So feel free to contact us. Our emails, you guys have our emails, and check out the websites, and have a lot of ways we can work together in the future.
That is awesome. And Stacy, do you have any last statement to this audience?
Yeah, no, just the same thing as Shelby said. Everyone can help out. Everyone can be engaged, and anyone can be a citizen scientist. So come on out, and we'll get you out in the water.
I love you guys. Are awesome. You guys are both so awesome. I can't wait to come visit you guys. And I'm going to be reaching out to you guys this week, because I have a lot of, after interviewing you guys, I did my research, but after talking to you guys one-on-one, my mind is just spinning on so many things that we can, help build.
There's so much. I said we're open to anything, and we're normally not the kind of person to people to be like, oh, we're gonna just not do that. We might not be able to do it tomorrow, but we'll put it on our to-do list. So
oh, that's awesome. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. It's awesome. And again, go check out thousandmermaids.com and oceanrescuealliance.org. Check it out. You're meeting with two amazing, phenomenal people. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank
your
you.
passion and your drive and your impact. I can't wait to help you guys.
Well, thanks for having us, Charlie.
Well, listen,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you so much. Welcome to Kush, keeping us sustainably healthy.
Thank you.
And we have a phenomenal performer that is jumping in with us. His name is Zach Reyes. Steve, do we have Zach in yet? Because I'd love to introduce you guys to Zach. Oh, there's Zach. What's up, man?
How's it going? Thank you for having me.
Hey, Zach.
How's it going?
So normally during the
Sorry, popped in. I also just woke up not too long ago, so I'm just
So normally during planting seeds, what I like to do is I like to bring the experts in, talk about sustainable solutions, and then let's support the local and independent musicians. And so we mix it up from that, from sustainability expert to talent, and just so we could all co-support each other. I mean, this is what it's all about, is that human connection.
Mm-hmm. Which is the most important thing during this pandemic.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
So Zach, thank you for joining us. Shelby and Stacy, thank you guys again so much. If you guys want to stay tuned in and listen to Zach, he's a phenomenal musician. And we'll be doing a quick interview, and then he's going to just take over from there.
All right, let's hear it.
Cool. So Zach, how are you?
I'm good. I'm wonderful. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank
Your
you for
music
having
is
me.
awesome, by the way.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's you definitely have a you could feel your emotions in the music, and it's nice to see that today's day.
Yeah, I always try to do that with my songs, and yeah, if I could bring it out today too. This is like the first virtual performance I did in like a while. I've been like on the down low for like a month and a half now. So
Oh, really?
yeah, I've been my room has been like changed right now. Like I was redoing my room for the entire month, so I just like took a break from social media. I actually have like some recording equipment coming in through the mail that I ordered. So I wanted to fix up my room to make it more of like a studio environment. So I just dedicated like a month to that.
That's
And
awesome.
here I am.
Good time to do it. This is the time to do it. I'm doing the same thing. I'm in my office right now, and I'm thinking about how to turn my office into an awesome recording studio. Because I'm finding myself less need of all the physical other items around me that I needed 10 years ago. And I'm like, I haven't opened that file bin in years.
That's exactly what I did. I got rid of like everything that was in my room. There's so much more room. I didn't realize how big my room is, like until I got rid of all that stuff. So
That must be pretty good for your acoustics then.
yeah, it is. Everything's it's more echo reverbish, I guess, or echoey in here, if that's the right words to use.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just so much better. It's more breathable in here too. I like it. I love it. So
That's awesome. So how's COVID been? I know COVID's been tough for everybody. Has it brought out any inspirations of emotions into music for you, or?
yeah, it's well, the thing is with me and COVID right now is that like I'm an essential worker. Like I'm a local one plumber for New York, so I've been like working for most of the time. I had a 2 week down period, so I did experience some like quarantine and some of the pandemic, just staying home for a bit. And I was writing a lot of music within that time. So I've been exploring, like I was getting inside my head a lot, which I don't normally get the chance to do because I'm always busy with stuff. So it was really good to just sit down and just, figure myself out a little bit through music,
Yeah.
So it was really cool. But yeah, there's always something positive to come out of like a horrible event. There's always some positive thing to come out of it, like as weird as that sounds. So that's how I like it.
I agree. I feel the same way. It's given personally, it's given me more time to just more quality time with my kids and less travel for work and just less travel in general and just focusing on the core values of life. And it's just been really, really mesmerizing and eye opening. And it's I have to say it's unique to deal with because the new societal norms are a little tough to get used to, but it's here. So tell us, Zach. So what are your plans now? What are your plans coming up with? Like, what are your goals with music, particularly?
Right now, I'm just like taking the time to just work on my writing. I'm actually trying to get better at playing guitar because I used to be in a rock band like a few years ago, and I used to like improv and play all these cool things. And now I'm like working on more songwriting that I feel like I've spent more time writing like lyrics as opposed to actually learning how to play guitar better. So I'm working on that as well as teaching myself how to produce myself a little bit, So just to be more self-sufficient, especially during times like this, because usually I record with my friend and we can't meet up now because of the pandemic. So now I'm kind of just like on pause and I want to keep going.
Yeah.
So that's my plan.
That's the most important thing, actually, is just to constantly put in your mind to keep going, but don't overwhelm yourself with that drive because, you have to stop and appreciate those moments of taking those steps to reflect upon and say, you know what? It's okay to take a break for a minute and look around and say, wow, all right, I'm here because of these results. I use that every Sunday. Every Sunday, I take Sunday as a reflection day of the week. What did I do this past week? And how did it end me up here? And week by week, and all of a sudden, when you look back after a year, you're like, whoa, what the heck just happened? I had no idea this was going to be my spot. But
exactly.
yeah, right.
Is
So
it just me, or does it seem like anybody who's like a workaholic or something like that, like the second they had that 1 week off and they're like, oh yeah, it's good. Then that second Monday hit, they're probably like, I need to do something. Like they're starting to get a little fidgety. That was totally me. And I'm like, that, that's a little bit of a problem that I can't even enjoy like a week off. Like it's crazy, So, but yeah.
That's where I'm sure your music comes in to help as that saving grace, so to say, of giving you that, you know what, I'm going to be creative now. I wish I had the musical ability to just pick up a guitar and just to write music and do something. Me, I pick up a pair of nunchucks and I do nunchucks. So,
I wish I could do that. That would be awesome. I'd
rather play guitar, but so Zach, I'm going to give you the floor. Yeah, I love your music. I think our audience is really going to appreciate you and your music. So the floor is yours to take on, man. If you want to say anything to anyone beforehand and as a little message, go for it.
I can't think of a message right now. I'm on the spot. I'll think of something. I'll say something in between the songs. So I'll just start playing and just get comfortable. So
Cool.
I still got nerves from this. I'm still getting used to the whole virtual live streaming thing.
Me too. I am not comfortable with any of this right now. So
drip of sweat coming down. Yeah, we're all good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yo, I can't wait to hear what you got for us tonight, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to play.
Thank you.
All right. So do I just go? I guess I do. All right. This first song is a song that I've been playing for years, and it was the first song I ever recorded. It's entitled "With You," and it goes like this. Took my heart when you were 18, sipping on some pinnacle. Then we locked eyes, I fell for you so hard. Pulled me in and said, come on. Let the beat carry us into the night. There's no one more to dance alone. Put my arms around you, hold you so tight. With no plans to let you go. Plans to let you go. Skin to skin, your lips press to mine. My hands all over your waist. Is this heaven or the stars aligned? 'Cause everything's falling into place. I've got the chills and shakes from all the words you say. Just wanna be with you. You take my breath away every single day. Just wanna be with waking up to a morning so cold, keep you wrapped up in my arms. She said, don't think I'm crazy, but you might be the one. So I think I'm falling deep in love. I've got the chills and shakes from all the words you say. Just wanna be with you. You take my breath away every single day. Just wanna be I've got the chills and shakes from all the words you say. Just wanna be with you. So first song down. So over this quarantine, I had a lot of time to write new music, and like I was saying, getting lost inside my head. So I've always had like an underwhelming feeling of things just going on, and I can never explain it. And still to this day, I get that feeling and could never explain it. So I tried to write a song about it to see if I could maybe get some insight on it through my lyrics. The song is not entirely done, so I guess I'm still figuring it out. But I enjoy playing it as is. The song's called Just Another Night. Just another night, I've been stuck inside my mind with this underlying fear. From deep inside, I can feel the gravity, it keeps on pulling me, weighs me down, no stopping, no, it's catching up on me, and I'm just out of reach, but this time it seems I just might not be far enough. Just running down a way, get me out of my mind, longer that I stay in the other side. Take it day by day, but the days are so long. Try to make it back, but I don't know where I am. Oh, I guess I get me straight. Then all the signs open up the map to see now where I should be. So far out, no stopping now. It's catching up on me, and I'm just out of reach. But this time it seems I just might not be far enough. Running away, get me out of mountain. Longer than I stay, then I'm on the other side. Take it day by day, but the days are so long. Wish I could take it on back. All I can do now is keep on moving on. Wish that I could take it on back. All I can do now is keep on moving on. Just want to run away, get me out of my mind. Longer that I stay, then the more I lose sight. Take it day by day, but the days are so long. It's becoming one of my favorite songs to play. So I hope everyone's doing well during this pandemic. I know things are starting to lighten up, but keep on wearing those masks. So I'm supposed to have another song coming out soon. And it's a song that I wrote like 2 years ago. And it's a lovey-dovey song. It's fun to play. I don't know if I relate with it so much now, but it was a song I just always enjoyed playing and always loved having around, and I finally got around to recording it. So I'm going to play that song for you now. The song's called Only One. Dancing right another moon. moonlight, making love until the sunrise, giving loving through the hard times, and everything will be alright, alright, yeah. 'Cause I'll be there for you, like you'll be there for me, through the thick and thin, and all that's in between. You're the only one for me, baby. Cuddled up in those bed sheets, together watching scary movies, and I don't mind every night if you decide to rest your head up on my shoulder, as long as I look up to that pretty face every morning, 'cause I'll be there for you, you'll be there for me, through the thick and thin, and all that's in between. You're the only one for me, baby. Cause I'll be there for you, like you'll be there for me, through the thick and thin, and all that's in between. 'Cause you're the only one for me, baby. 'Cause you're the only one for me, baby. You're the only one for me, baby. It's just a short little love song. All right, so this next song I'm gonna try and play accurately. I just really want to play new songs. That's why I'm kind of like challenging myself to play songs that I don't practice enough, because I'm still working on them. But I want to play new material for you guys. This song is called Weekend Love, and I'm gonna mix it up with the cover. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Grips on your waist from way back way. You know that I don't play. Sheets not safe, though we never run away. Even when I'm away. OT, OT. Never much love of your OT. I pray we make it back in one piece. I pray, I pray. That's right, I need a one dance. Got an Hennessy in my hand. One more time before I go. Higher powers get a hold of me. I need a one dance. Got an Hennessy in my hand. One more time before I go. Higher powers get a hold of me. End of the day, so I know I'm getting paid. As I'm clocking out and work, hit the road, I'm going on. And I can't wait till I get to see your face. As I'm walking through the door, and I'm wrapped up in your arms. Love the way you hold me, hands are touching on my body, kissing on my lips so softly now. Kiss me harder, kiss me harder. Getting tipsy on Bacardi, dancing all the way into the morning
I don't ever stress about nothing. Oh, because every day you're making me. You got the kind of love that doesn't feel like work. Palm trees and waves, that is all that is in my vein. You're the paradise that's in my heart. It never seems to fall. Under the sun, everything's so calm. Let the bed sheets be the sea, where we only whisper when we speak. Oh, my love, you're the only thing I know. Not to mention you know me. That's just how it'll be, 'cause I love the way you hold me. Had to touch on my body, kissing on my lips so softly now. Kiss me harder, getting tipsy on Bacardi. Dancing all the way into the morning. I don't ever stress about nothing, no. Because every day you're my weekend day. You got the kind of love doesn't feel like work. Palm trees and waves, that is all that is in my vein. You're the paradise that's in my heart. It never stays too far. I need one dance, got an Hennessy in my hand. One more time before I go. Like flowers, get a hold of me. I need a one dance, got an Hennessy in my hand. One more time before I go. Like flowers, get a hold of me.
Kind of improv that end there. All right. I'm gonna end this song on a. I'm gonna end this little set on a new song. Kind of a new song. It's a song idea I had floating around for a bit too, but I'm trying to work it into a newer song. It's called So Cold. Oh, and thank you guys for listening. And thank you for having me, Kushmer, Charlie. Thank you for inviting me on. And I hope you guys have a good night. Okay.
You're my number one, on the slip of my Insta. Am I pathetic now? 'Cause I'm the one who misses you. You almost in all that to know. Love your pictures, but now you have more because it hurts you saying no. I guess word gets you down. So cold, I've been all night. Don't know if I can't take much more of this heartache coming on my heart. It breaks too. What else can I do? Still getting over you. I don't want to know if you're talking to someone who can't stand the thought of them just watching you. I miss being your man. That's not the way this is. So cold, I've been all night. Don't know if I can't take much more of this heartache coming on my heart. Heartache too. To get it over you. So cold, I've been all night. Don't know if I can't take much more of this heartache coming on my heart. It breaks me. To get it over you. save themselves in myself. Don't know if I can say so cold, so cold. I've been all night. Don't know if I can take much more of this heartache. Don't know my heart it breaks too. Still got it over you. What else can I do? Still got it over you. Still got it over you.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for having me. So much fun playing for like the first time in a long time.
Dude, you're awesome, man. It's so funny too because before you jumped on, you're like, "Yeah, I'm not used to this whole virtual thing, blah blah," you know. And then all of a sudden, you just get on the music, and I'm like, "Whoa, the dude is just exploding out!"
I swear to God, I was nervous when I started, and then I got comfortable. I'm like, oh, okay.
Dude, your music is phenomenal. Your emotions come right through it. It's amazing, and I love the fact that you said to yourself that you're like, "Hey, I'm challenging myself tonight." And that was so cool, man. That's what it's all about. It's like you're having fun. Our audience is totally engaged with this, and this is why we're here. It's as Kush. Yes, our motto is keeping us sustainably healthy, but sustainability has so many different meanings. It's not just ecological, but it's everything, aspects of life, and it's a sustainability of let's be a part of supporting our local community. Let's be a part of supporting our local artists and being a part of it and engaging. So, Zach, you're awesome. Thank you so much for giving us the time tonight. It was phenomenal, man. The acoustics in that empty room of yours that you're saying worked out really well for this video particularly. So thank you so much, man.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm good. That's good to know. I wasn't sure how that was going to work out too. So I was just like, oh, wait, hopefully the audio is good. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a real pleasure.
And Zach, as you're part of this whole Kush crew now, man, it's the whole point of this is bringing together the sustainable experts and the entertainers together and bringing that audience all together as one. So I hope you stay tuned in with us. We have a phenomenal guest coming up, and I'd love for you. It's a matter of just all of us meeting and supporting one another, and that's really what it comes down to. So I'd love to bring on. So it's Jessica from the Plastic Ocean Project. Let's see, where's
Hey there.
Hey, what's up?
Sam.
Hello,
Who is that? I'm sorry, you broke up.
I'm Sam Shores.
Sam, nice to meet you, Sam.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for having us.
No problem. So I'm Charlie Moore with Kush. I hope you guys enjoyed Zach Reyes. I saw you guys were tuned in the whole time.
It was
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah,
Well
you're
done.
great.
Thank you for watching.
Cool. Well, Zach, thank you so much, man. I hope you stay tuned in, and we're going to be doing a lot together and working on a whole bunch of music collaborations. So thank you so much, Zach.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for having me again. Yep. Take care, guys.
All right. What's up, guys? How are you?
Good. Been tuning in. Those 1,000 Mermaids are really something special.
All right, it's such an amazing organization that they have, and I like I said, I was introduced to them years ago, and it was such a big part of why we identified SDG number 14, a life below water, for July, and saying, you know what, let's bring all of these great organizations together as the experts to bring them to our audience, to bring them to the entertainers and the content creators, and let's all come together as one right now. So I investigated who you guys were. And I was like, they'd be phenomenal for the show tonight. So tell us first about who you guys are. Let's just start with the basics. Tell this to the world that's watching right now. Who are you guys as the Plastic Ocean Project?
Well, the coolest thing about Plastic Ocean Project is we're a group of all walks of life. Every industry, a lot of students, you have young people, retired people, we're all just in this collective environment to help research and solve the problem and collaborate and just work hand in hand together. Our founder, Bonnie Monteleone, was on a research vessel with actually Captain Charlie Moore.
Well, that's funny.
What's that?
Was it the same spelling or no?
Moore. So it's not the same.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
Sam just made that connection, and I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really funny.
But he runs the Algalita Marine Research Vessel, and so they were resampling the North Pacific Gyre, quantifying the rate of plastic marine debris growth of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And when she came upon that massive island of trash in the most remote water of the world, she just knew she had to do something about it. So upon completing her master's program, she co-founded Plastic Ocean Project to provide education through research, outreach through art, and solutions through collaboration. Since I joined the team, my favorite aspect of POP, what we like to call it, is the education through research. Like I said, there's students from 9 years old up to graduate students and retired people working in this lab, testing samples, researching the effects of plastics on our oceans, our marine life, and then our bodies as well. The students have gone on to be dentists, zero waste event planners, environmental photographers. Some work with NOAA, and there's even some who've gone on to get their PhD and continued researching the problem. So it's just essentially a gateway of connecting this problem that affects every single one of us and connect it to a career path for dedicated individuals. And then the outreach for art, I'll let Sam touch on, but you actually brought two pieces in.
Yeah, so one of the things that we do is not only do we try and provide solutions to the waste that we see, but we can also make art out of this and create a message that gets people involved. So we have an old surfboard right here that was found on a cleanup, and so I just started getting a painting going right here. I don't know if you can see it too well, but so this one is going to be If 2020 Was a Painting. And so that one we will actually auction off. We do consistent art galas and virtual auctions, and we just hosted one this past week to actually support both local artists, but also use the waste that we find to send a message about making this visual of what the problem is, but how we can turn something and create something absolutely beautiful out of it. I did another one where we take old vinyls that are about to be sent to the landfill. Yeah. And we use them as we reinnovate the canvas. And those are just great mediums that we can use as we just try and find something without buying new. And we can try and reuse and reinnovate anything that we can to make it look beautiful, but also be a solution to the waste that could be in our water.
So where's your headquarters?
So we're based in Wilmington, North Carolina. We're actually adjacent to the University of North Carolina, Wilmington.
That's awesome. And how often are you guys going out and looking for plastic or like refuse?
We're doing beach cleanups as often as we can. We're at the beach or on highways every other week. Sam spearheads them pretty much daily. And then as far as on actual vessels, we do an annual Fishing for Plastics tournament, which we get boats involved to actually get out on the water. And then Bonnie with her team, Sam, you've been before, I think, on the
When we went
batteries.
offshore, yeah.
We're working on a film to kind of document the effects that plastics are having on marine life. And so when they go out to film, they'll always be bringing in plastics. And then we are partnered with a couple organizations who are always out in the water, and they'll send us their samples to study.
That's really wild that you guys are talking about that. So do you guys also team up with like fishing vessels and such, and fishing fleets to try to help collect?
So far, it's been just a kind of a annual, once a year, let's get everyone together, and we've paid the fishermen, so they're still getting paid for their services, but instead of catching fish, they're catching plastic. But we'd love to incorporate it more. This year was supposed to be a really good year, but social distancing has been a little hard for that.
So let's touch upon that. How's that been for you guys? This whole COVID thing going on. What's happening?
Yeah, Our team has been super dedicated. We've kind of made it our pop circle, our family. So we're not wearing masks around each other, but we're distancing from everyone else. So we're really lucky to have each other. But funding has kind of come to a halt. So
Oh,
we're hopeful that the end of the year, the new year, can bring in some more funding so we can continue our research. But our dedication and passion hasn't stopped. It's just a matter of, can we fund the work we want to do?
That's and that's so important too, because and it's a shame that it all comes down to that funding source as this primary component as the driver. What are some things that you guys have seen that we convey this out to the audience that's listening right now, the potential contributors of some of the waste that you guys are seeing out there? What is it that you're seeing most of, and how is that impacting the ecology that you guys see and the environments that you guys are grabbing it from, both from the beach and the ships? And what can you do to tell the people to be more conscious, for instance?
Sure. Well, right now, there's no doubt everyone's doing takeout. I know that even those of us who moved away from it, as soon as we were eating our own home cooked meals for 3 months and we got the go ahead to go get a takeout meal, we were going to. So that has put all of we have ocean friendly establishments who have done everything they can to get away from single use plastics. But when you're doing mass volumes of to go food just to stay afloat, you got to cut costs where you can. So we understand that they're bearing that burden. So when you're going to get takeout, refuse utensils. Have a metal fork in your car, or you're taking your food at home anyways, so you don't need that. You can always refuse lids and straws. The biggest thing is just get what you need. Your food's coming in a container. We got that. With COVID-19, you're getting waste there. But what can you not ask for? Ask for it not to be bagged. And then business owners as well. I know you're a fast-paced environment, but you can take 2 seconds to say, do you need utensils? And then you save money.
Sure.
You're not
Yes,
out
we do.
utensils.
Yes. Cogs out. Yeah.
And then your eco-friendly customers are going to be so proud of you that they're probably going to come back, because they're going to say, wow, these people care. Reusable bags, we get a lot of grocery plastic bags on our cleanups.
Really?
That's probably one of the biggest.
Mhm.
And that I would love to just put an X on that mindset of that carrying COVID. The CDC has said that surface-to-surface spread is very, very unlikely. So please take your reusable bags. I know I've been to some stores that have signs that say you can't, but then I ask the person, they're like, oh, it's fine. So just take it. Wear it as a purse. Take your reusable bag. You're not doing any harm if you put the food that you are going to consume in your own reusable bag. It's fair game, and will save the environment. And then
Yeah, I would also add, if you go to a grocery store, one trick that I use is most people just have a box in their house, or you can find a box. I go to the grocery store and I will just use a cart, and I tell them not to bag it. And then I go to my car and I just put everything in a single box. I carry it up to my apartment, and it works perfectly fine. And I just keep on using the same box. But I've gotten weird looks when I just carry a massive box of groceries, but I honestly like it because I think it gets people to think about how they can use things that are kind of unconventional and add it to their daily lives.
I love that. And I'm glad that you guys hit upon the point with the grocery bags, particularly. I'm a big reusable bag person. I have them all over the place. I keep them always in my car because I always know leaving the house I may forget one. So there's always my static car ones and such. The one I use too, it's pretty cool. It was made out of, it was repurposed from a coffee burlap bag into a reusable bag. So it got another life to it. And then after that one starts to die and rip and shred apart, I could put another life to it by putting it in my garden for water retention. So, it's a pretty cool product. But what you guys said, Sam, what you said about the box, I'm the same guy. I'm the box guy. I bring all my groceries out, box. It's easier to carry a box than a whole bunch of bags sometimes. And
Right.
Jessica, what you stated to the business owners, that was awesome. Yes, business owners, every single business owner listening right now, and everyone, please just share this and write this statement. And I'm going to try to paraphrase as best as what Jessica stated. Ask your customers if they want it. Do you need utensils? Do you really need the utensils? Ask them. Let's mitigate that type of waste, because most of the time that it is going into waste, especially now. I don't really order takeout, but when I do, I should be more conscious. I let them give me my pre-assorted bag, and when I come home, I have the plastic utensils in there. I'm not even using them because I'd rather use my regular metal utensils.
Right.
So I'm really glad that you brought that up. I never even thought about that as these restaurants, particularly. So, and yes, it will cut your cost out. So I'm talking to all the business owners right now. Everyone listening, just tag that. Any business owner out there, ask your customer if they need utensils and they need this waste product. No, that was great. So give us an example. What is one of the most unique and largest projects that you guys did? And it might be disheartening to hear about what you guys have found, but let's share with our audience. I mean, some of the impacts that you guys have already created.
There's a wide variety of projects going on right now. I would say Sam might have been a part of that one. We were able to ban cigarette smoking on the beach, so it's a smoke-free beach. We still get a lot of cigarette butts on the beach, but the good thing is our cigarette butts are kind of on that line of where the asphalt turns to sand, because people are seeing that and they're throwing it. So there's still our cigarette smokers out there. They're not biodegradable. They will stay there forever. Please throw them in the trash can if you smoke. But they're seeing it and they're throwing it, so they're not necessarily walking on the beach. So they're in a more convoluted area, which is great because it's like 100 in one spot. But I think the numbers have gone down exponentially of what they used to find versus what they find now. So I think legislative stuff, they've done little things here and there throughout our community. Our ocean-friendly establishments have taken off. I think we have near 200 restaurants in town who now they don't serve plastic straws. To be a 5-star, you're having compostable to-go-ware, you're composting your food, you're having absolutely no single-use plastic in your restaurant whatsoever. You're sourcing your food as local and sustainably as possible. And that's a huge movement, because everybody eats out. And so when you have your whole community surrounded by restaurants that care, it's a domino effect. And then we've got a Trees for Trash initiative. So for every 25 pounds of trash we pick up, we plant a tree, which that's great because we're putting something that belongs in the environment back in, and we're taking out what doesn't. Awareness is huge. I think we've definitely, across the board, shifted mindsets, thousands of people a year through all of our events and workshops that we go to. The sampling that they come across, Sam is our research guy, but they can really identify and figure out what microplastics are doing to the fish and the salt and our bodies. And we're able to kind of combat that by saying, hey, look, this is what's happening. What was that study you were talking about?
Yeah, so if you've heard of the compound BPA or BPA free, it was used to be in everything, really. And there was actually a study in 2019 in the Diabetes Metabolic Journal that stated that it actually impacted humans as an endocrine disruptor, and that plastic particles in general do have long-term effects, whether it's on people directly or several generations from now. And I think what we're doing is not only on the science side, understanding how that's impacting the food that we eat, whether that's fish or our drinking water sources, but providing those solutions through ocean-friendly establishments, through recycling cigarette butts, by planting trees near a landfill. We're mitigating those problems at the source by removing them early on.
All right, I'm getting lagged out a little bit, so I'm just catching up. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So when you're so by catching it early on and remediating it, so to say, what are your telltale metrics of how you're impacting, and how do you get others involved to see what you guys are doing?
So I would say the Trees for Trash campaign is the most notable way that we've kept track of our impact, but also left a lasting mark. So after Hurricane Florence, thousands of trees were removed and hundreds, if not thousands, of homes were leveled. So we started the Trees for Trash campaign, and what this did was, like Jessica said, for every 25 pounds of waste removed, we went and planted a tree. So over the course of 2 years, we ended up removing about 12,000 pounds. We planted about 3,000 trees. We planted 1,500 next to in the new Hanover County landfill, and then we ended up donating 1,500 to local homeowners. And I think this way, we actually have an awesome way of quantifying our waste in the amount of pounds we remove in homes that were destroyed, but also in our watersheds, along our beaches. And we can show people, here's the waste, and here's the evidence through research that shows that these toxins have lasting impacts. But then we leave another mark by planting a tree in areas, and trees have just tons and tons of benefits, whether that's mitigating toxins in runoff water, or creating solidified land to prevent erosion from future storms and protecting areas. I think we found a really good balance of getting people who want to pick up trash, but also people who want to plant trees, because I know almost everyone can be excited to plant a tree. I think we've gotten really good ways of getting people involved through that initiative.
That I love it. I mean, I love just hearing about, especially the erosion piece. It's so important that we maintain the preservation of our coastal waterways. And every time we develop something, we're taking away that integral root system that keeps our soil and keeps our land there. This is amazing. And I know that you guys also have an art project as well.
Yeah, so Bonnie, the founder, was an artist. She is an artist. So she had a traveling art show, and she would take it around and show people, and it was all made of plastic she had found in the ocean. A lot of lids, caps, shovels, and she would take it and speak to people on behalf of found and turn it into actually
This piece right here was one of the 4 panels that was used that traveled across the nation.
Wow.
Telling the story of what goes around comes around, and how our plastic waste is integrated into our coastal and marine ecosystems.
That's beautiful. Who painted that?
Bonnie. Well, the original. I don't think this is the original.
No, this is a printout. The original is safe right now, somewhere that I don't know, but
less than paint. It's actually the plastic glued on.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I know. I don't know if you can tell, but it's all the microplastic in there.
Wow. Yeah, this is amazing. I know you guys have a video for us too to show our audience. Would you guys like to show?
Steve, you can either show that research one or the film teaser, which this film one I think would be best.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this piece here represents the real issue, and that is this overuse of one-time use plastics. So 300 million tons of plastic is produced globally each year. Half of that is made for short time or one-time use items. So when I say short time, we're talking about bottles. There's something we use for maybe a week, our shampoo bottles, our body washes, or I'm talking about straws and forks and bottle caps. And these are the things that we're using for a very short period of time, and we're disposing of them, not using them for anything, and we don't give it any value. So this represents that it's ending up in our oceans. And so the concept is we have an ocean that's filling up with plastic, and when we end up getting in the ocean, we become consumed again by our own plastic. One of the reasons why it looks beautiful in some respects is because this is a beautiful place. The ocean is one of the most endearing things we have on this planet. But I want them to get that we're doing something that is harming it. And this one thing that we're doing is something that we can all do something about, right? I mean, we can't go pluck mercury out of the ocean, but we can pluck plastic out. And we can reduce our use of plastic. So let's just say we decide to just make 3 behavioral changes. We bring our own coffee cups, we bring our own bottles for cold fluids, and we bring our own bags. Just those 3 things can reduce the amount of plastic we're using.
That's
That's what I found.
That was amazing. I'm having some technical issues, by the way, on my end. I'm having a hard time hearing you guys. I don't know what's going on. And I'm watching it. I was watching that video live on Facebook, and everything's coming in clear. So just bear with me a moment. If I seemed like lagged out or anything, just wait.
Well, if you want, Steve could go right back into we're working on a film that's supposed to come out next summer, and it's not a doom and gloom film because it's really, really beautiful. Steve, do you know what I'm talking about?
Steve.
Okay. Well, anyways. Oh.
Awesome. There it is.
I love thinking about the birds singing their higher pitched songs up in the trees, while far below the ocean surface, whales are singing a similar song, just at a slower speed and at a lower pitch. One part of me is amazed by this connection, while the other just thinks, of course they're connected. Everything in nature is connected. Whales are highly dependent on sound for their navigation and communication. On the other hand, whales have been highly limited to what man-made sounds they've heard. The insatiable human demands for stuff endlessly shipped across the ocean surface collide with their need to breathe, filling the oceans with noise and plastic waste. Ubiquitous plastic trash confused for food. Man-made chemicals that find their way into marine mammals' mother's milk. I think it's safe to say that whales rarely have the opportunity to hear man-made sounds that are beautiful. I believe that whales would be curious, excited, and interested to hear more music from us. I want to share with them that not all of our human activities are destructive. People have been trying to save the whales for decades. I want to learn their struggles in hopes to communicate their story. I am in search of answers to the ocean calling. Could it be that whales are saving us?
Hey, all right. So that was amazing. So when was this filmed?
So it's been on and off for over a year. Some of the clips were Sam's right off of Hatteras. If you saw that goldish mass at Sargassum, which is one of the most biodiverse areas around the coast, and it's filled with plastic.
Hey, Jessica, we're having a little bit of a problem with your audio. We're not really hearing you. So I think maybe just reconfigure it a little bit, see if maybe switching the position, because I'm hearing Sam really clearly for some reason.
Oh, well, that's fine. He can take it away.
Can you hear us? Is the audio okay? Or is it just me that sounds clear?
No, I think it's good now for Jessica also.
Sweet.
Alright.
Tyler, are you hearing that?
I'm not hearing. I'm having a hard time. I think it might be my system right now.
All right. So if you want to jump out, try restarting your browser, and
I'll
then
restart my browser. I'll be back in a moment.
cool.
And,
All right.
We'll talk about the research with this. So yeah, you guys were really well prepared for this. You sent like a whole document with. That's like the most information we've ever gotten from a guest before. So I really appreciated it because it made our lives so easy. So if you have anything else specifically that you'd want to talk about, I know I have this research project, but if you want to give a little bit of background before we play the video.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So if this is in relation to the video we're about to play, this is a current study that we actually are just about finishing up. It's studying commercial sea salts. So anything that we'll find in our food, it's salt made by a local company here. And they asked if we could test and see if we can find microplastic in them. So we end up filtering the salt through an aspirator, and then we look at it under a microscope, and we just look for any form of microplastic or synthetic particles that end up on the same salt that goes in our dinner plate. And so this has been a not world renowned, an international study that each country has been doing on their own salt samples, and it kind of demonstrates how much plastic is integrated into our own lives. So we found a lot of particles on commercial salt. And so what we're doing is we're going back through with an equipment called a Fourier transform infrared microscopy, or FTIR. And what this does is it tells us the exact chemical composition or the type of plastic that we see in these salts, whether that's polyethylene from a plastic water bottle or polystyrene from a to-go container or something, and how that's coming back into our own human health. And so it's really interesting to see how much plastic affects us on levels that we can't see. So the video that we'll see explains a little bit of the process of how we get there, the importance of an FTIR, and just a very brief overview of some of the things that we study here in our lab. Yes.
Cool. So let's go.
The Research and Operations intern here at the Plastic Ocean Project, and today I'm going to show you what I do in the lab here. So I'm working on a project with Sea Love Sea Salt. They sent me over some bags of their sea salt to test if there are any microplastics in it. So first off, I had to separate up the salt into 10 samples and then dissolve them. I'm not showing that here today because I've already moved on from that. But today I'm going to analyze what we caught on the filter paper. So once we dissolved it, we ran it through the aspirator pump. And that was to get rid of all of the excess stuff so we can focus on what is not dissolvable. So all of our microplastics and anything synthetic will not dissolve in water. So it helps us collect that more easily. And then from there, we look at the samples of what is left on the filter papers. And that's where all of the microplastics are going to be, if there are any. And we will know about that when we get our microscopic FTIR. But for today, what I am doing is I'm looking through any sand and silt and excess salt crystals, and I'm going to see what's not any of that. So something that looks suspicious, anything colored, anything that looks like it could be a microplastic, I pull out and I save for later. And then after we do the FTIR analysis, I will be able to determine if it is a microplastic or not.
Well, that was alarming.
And our FTIR is getting delivered tomorrow. So if anybody's watching who has supported us, thank you for your contribution.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
You can hear them.
It's
Yeah.
maybe back up. I'm not sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear Sam loud and clear.
That's so weird. So anyway, yeah, that piece of equipment, the FTIR, is actually being delivered tomorrow. So for anybody who's contributed and is supporting our mission in that step of research, a bunch of appreciation and gratitude for you. But we have some really, really awesome updates on research coming once we start employing that equipment. We'll be able to learn just the total other side of the research aspect about what's really in our water and our salts and our fish.
Yeah, it has to be going through not just the salt. That's just one example.
Yeah.
Where did you know where you're sourcing the sea salt from? Is there a specific waterway that's more polluted than others, maybe?
So these are, I believe, just off the coast of Wrightsville Beach in our local area, but we're actually based off of the Cape Fear River. So we are downstream from almost every major city and town, specifically Raleigh, North Carolina, our state capital. So every single pollutant that's in there comes downstream to us. So we do really see a majority of the effects of pollution as it comes downstream because it all is building up. And it really impacts our area the hardest along the river, and notably Fayetteville as well.
Like, I don't know if you can hear me, but like the 1000 Mermaids said, something we don't always realize is all water leads back to the ocean. So your water runoff on the concrete, your rain, your rivers, lakes, every single body of water is running down to the ocean. So that's something that I love that they mentioned that, because that's a connection that needs to be made.
Yeah. It's something that an average person like me doesn't know.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the other things that we really see, it's not only impacting the ecology of our local areas, but everything that does come downstream usually, accumulates much higher, and it actually impacts our drinking water severely. So in Wilmington, we are really notorious for a chemical called Gen X, which is one of the forever chemicals of the per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. And this is, if you've seen the movie Dark Waters or The Devil We Know, a lot of these come from non-stick and plastic materials that get dumped in our water. And it's actually contaminating the drinking water of thousands of people who really don't have access or the money or representation. And I think that's one of the things that we've become really mindful of, is how every single human is connected by water, whether we're aware of it or not. And I think we see those effects really play out closer to the coast, and we have both the benefit and the tragedy of seeing that, but then we can really relay that to other people and provide those solutions early on in places that you may not think about it as much.
So what are some of those solutions that people like me can keep in the back of our minds when we're doing things?
I would say the biggest thing that you can try and do is to shop locally. I know shopping local does make things more expensive, but it has so many benefits when you can support your local businesses and artists. Not only does it help strengthen your local economy and support your neighbors and friends, but what it also does is it helps support your local farmers. It reduces that shipping time to get things across oceans and between countries and packaged and wrapped to your place. And I think understanding what you use with your dollar every day, even if you just make those small changes, like bringing a bag to the grocery store, or saying I'm going to try and support my my friends and neighbors at the farmers market, and trying to become more mindful of what you support and how you can sort of mitigate your waste or reduce the waste that you create. There's tons of really easy solutions out there, like bringing your bag or using a box at the grocery store, and finding ways to reuse as much as you can before you have to throw it into the landfill. I think finding upstream solutions so that throwing something away is the last thing we have to do is probably the best way to make a change.
Yeah, I know. I spoke with Charlie about the plastic reusable bags earlier today. And I live in New York. I live in New York City. So we just recently banned not single-use plastics, but plastic garbage bags. So now all of the stores encourage you, they give you like a little discount if you're using a reusable bag. And they also like supply paper bags now. Is there any difference between like the effect of a paper bag versus a plastic bag on the environment?
Well, a plastic bag is going to be around on Earth for about 1,000 years. Luckily, with a paper bag, it's going to be much more widely recyclable. You can get a few more uses out of it, and many paper bags are made of recycled paper, versus plastic bags, which are usually designed to simply be thrown away after an average use of maybe 30 seconds. So one of the things that I think is lacking with plastic specifically is we can't really reuse many of the types of plastics that we use in everyday life. We don't have circularity where we can take plastic from our to-go containers and use it for something else, versus reusable bags, hence the name reusable. We can find more uses for it, or even people who can make a bag out of a t-shirt, finding ways that we can cradle industries into each other rather than having something that's designed to be thrown away, which, as Carl Safina has said, he's a researcher up in New York, nothing should be designed to be thrown away. So I think paper bags are an okay alternative because they can be recycled, but definitely reusable would be the way to go.
But another thing we really like people to think about is the energy and resources that are going in to make something for a one-time use. So while we're a Plastic Ocean Project, I would say plastic bags and paper bags are both using resources to be thrown away. So I would say at all costs, don't use them. That's how I got myself on this train about 5 years ago. If I forgot a bag, I was carrying groceries. And finally, one time I was juggling them and the blueberries fell out of my hand and they spilled everywhere and it just stuck. It was like, all right, I can't forget my bags anymore. So whatever you can do to kind of twist your brain. I know a lot of people do weekly trash analysis. So they'll go through their garbage bag and be like, what out of this could I refuse or substitute? And just bringing that awareness to the table is really the key in starting this journey, because it is an overwhelming journey and you're not alone. You can call us, email us, we'll walk you through it. But just keep in mind that you can't fix it overnight, but awareness of your personal waste is your first step in kind of contributing to the solution.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's key. I recently saw a video of someone who's trying to get as close to zero waste as possible. So, like, I think all of her monthly garbage ended up in like the size of a mason jar, and it was just like little ties from things that she bought. But she uses mason jars to go to the store and get all of her dried beans and all that stuff. So she's not using any packaging. And that's an extreme version, but it's really cool that like people are actively going out and trying to do this. It might not be attainable for every single person, but it's totally, I mean, it is attainable. It's not like an impossible thing.
Yeah. And if I were to add one thing, is that we don't need a handful of people who are perfectly zero wasting. But if we have millions upon millions and billions of people imperfectly trying their best to reduce their waste, then we might see that positive change that's going to lead us to a healthy future. So it's always those first steps and finding that balance between the affordability and the eco-friendly. And I think those are very possible for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, we had a beach about a week ago, or maybe a week and a half ago. And what we realized is when we went there with 20 to 30 people and we started picking up garbage and, we had like 20 garbage bags full of trash and, it was tiny little pieces of plastic. So it takes a lot of time or a lot of little pieces of plastic to fill up an entire bag of garbage. And we had 20 of them. So, but when we were walking around, we saw all of these volunteers or all of the just regular beachgoers. They saw us picking up garbage and everyone grabbed a couple of pieces. And it was like, well, if everyone did this when they went to the beach on like just a normal trip, like every time I go to the beach now, even if I'm not going for a cleanup specifically, I can just go and grab 5 pieces of garbage on my way out or just fill up my hands and take that. That's another step towards something. If everyone were to do these small actions, we could do something cool.
Exactly.
And so we we started implementing these little actions that we want people in our organization to take and implement in their everyday lives. So we started doing meatless Mondays, which is something that's just like, even if you're not going to be completely vegan like I am, you can go out and reduce the amount of greenhouse gases or the amount of water that you're using. It's just a way to lower your carbon footprint by doing like one day, and you start to learn some recipes, and then you're like, oh, this is actually pretty cool, and like I can actually do this. Most people are like, oh, I could never go without cheese, and I know it's a difficult thing, but it's doing it for a day is not. And then walking somewhere, we do walking Wednesdays, like walking to your office if you're close enough to do that is it's just another little baby step that anyone can take.
Talk about the one good thing of COVID is all those people that stayed home for 3 months.
Yeah. I know we saw like the videos like, oh, the ozone is fixing itself. I don't know if it's necessarily true that it's going, that it was reversing, but I haven't spoken to any scientists, so I'm not sure. But still, it would be great if that were the case.
Exactly. So it just goes to show that all of our contributions and efforts can make a difference.
Well, I don't know what's going on with Charlie right now. He said his internet is like crawling at the moment. So it just happened. He said he's on the line with his internet company right now. But if you guys have any, last second things or lasting impressions that you want to leave on the audience, because our next guest just joined us back here. His name's Logan. He's going to be performing. I'll give you guys the floor for a couple of minutes to, I know you've said a lot, but kind of summarize and just see, leave your lasting impact on this community.
All I have to say is just try. Just any aspect that you think you can give up a piece of waste or even get in with a local organization to help clean up. Some people are not willing to change their life, but they're willing to donate their time or money to other people who will. So whether it's monetary or your time or actual lifestyle change for yourself, that's where you're going to make, you're going to find what works for you. And I know we push the refusing and reusing, but at the end of the day, you need to find something that you can do and be happy and proud of, because that's the coolest thing about all of this is when you make these changes, you have a reason to be proud of yourself. And it's really cool to give yourself a pat on the back and say, I did it. So I don't know, Sam, you want to add?
I completely agree. If we can all finding that unique contribution that we can use to be positive change, we can see a really big leap in the future to go green.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys. I'm actually gonna bring in Logan right now so we can continue this conversation with the three of us, and then I'll kick you guys out.
All right, sounds good.
So what's going on, Logan?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Thanks for joining.
How's it going?
So Charlie, if you were,
thank you.
I don't know if you were watching before, but Charlie's having some internet issues, so now I'm thrust into the hosting position here.
Oh, nice, man. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so
yeah, it's
I
really
think I'm
good
doing
what you guys are
pretty
doing.
good.
Great job.
Thanks, man. Yeah, these are the people that are actually doing amazing things. So if you had any questions or if they had any bits of information that they could share with you as like the average person here on Long Island. I know Logan's a local Long Island musician, plays in a couple of bands, and he has a solo act, and he's just started putting out amazing music. And I think that's the whole purpose, like Charlie reiterated before, of an event like this, which is to bring together the experts and then also bring out amazing talent and, bring those two audiences, or bring the audience that the musicians have some new information or something that they could learn and take into their daily lives.
Yeah, man. So awesome. So cool. You guys are doing. It's much respect. Like that is amazing. I tried, I do meatless Mondays like you, and try to stay conscious of where we're giving our dollar.
Yeah.
That's
vote with your dollar.
That's really Really great thing you guys get done.
All right, let's hear some music.
All right. Well, I'll set you guys on your way. You guys can hang out a little bit in the back end there if you want to listen.
Awesome.
But thank you for joining us. We'll
Thank you
definitely
guys for
be in
everything.
touch.
Thank you.
So what's going on, man? I talked to you earlier today.
Yeah, man. How you doing? How's your day?
You know, sitting here doing this and getting ready for all these things, and now Charlie's MIA because his internet's down. So we're figuring it out. But you know, you have your amazing set coming up, and I'm sure you got something great planned for us. Some positivity coming our way.
I'm gonna try, man. Yeah, absolutely.
So tell everyone who's watching a little bit about yourself and your music projects and what you've got going on.
Yeah, just I've been trying to stay busy through this quarantine. Been working on a lot of new songs, so been trying to use the best of this time. Been kind of locked away, so I've got some new stuff to share. And I'm real excited for I got the album coming out soon. Working on that, and it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Do you have a release date for the album?
No, just it's gonna be by the end of the year for sure.
Great.
Not
I can't wait to
but
hear it.
Yeah, man, I'm real excited.
Cool. So I guess I'll give you the floor. I'll let you have 20, 25 minutes to play what you want, and
Cool.
have fun, man.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. This is so cool to be a part of an event like this.
It's cool to have you. Thanks for being here, and I'll give you the floor.
All right. So first song is called New Day, because every day we wake up, we have a chance to make it a good one. Oh, it's a new day, new day. Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day today. Oh, it's a new day. Get up, meet your body. Get up, use a holiday, yo. Get up, it's a party all day. Get up, everybody, yo. Oh, it's a new day today. Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day today. Oh, it's a new day. I'm so the same, you see. So I hit a bit differently. Can help the feeling and I'm feeling a bit free. Raise your hand if you know what I mean. And if you don't, just when you see. Cause today's a good day to start playing. Feeling I'm like a movie screen. Now fast forward to the love scene. Oh, it's a new day today. Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day today. Oh, it's a new day. Get up, and meet your body. Heat up, and use a hottie. Oh, get up, everybody. Heat up, listen, party. Oh, it's a new day today. Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day today. Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day today. Oh, it's a new day. Oh, it's a new day today. Oh, it's a new day. Hey, thank you guys for joining me here. Hope everyone's doing well. Gonna do a few songs off my coming up album On the Cusp. Here's another one called The Whole Damn Thing. I like the style that you wear in your clothes. I like the way that you already know. I like the way you're making me glow. I like the whole damn thing. I like the way the hair blows in your face. I like the way that you answer your wet face. I like the style and the things you say. I like the whole damn thing. I like the smile and the way that you dance. I like the way that you hang with my friends. And then I like the way you look in those pants. I like the whole damn thing. I like the way that you're playing a song. I like the way that you're singing along. I like the way I can do no wrong. I like the whole damn thing, damn thing. I like the way that you always just know. I like the way that you rock and you roll. Oh, so likes to go with the flow. I like the whole damn thing. I like the way that we like to sing bands. I like the way that you hold my hand. I like the way you just understand. I like the whole damn thing. I like the way that we're on the same page. I like the way that you ride on my way. I say the date and the time and the place. I like the whole damn thing. I like the way that you think bad. Even the way you rock a silly face now. You're so bad and that I know it's a fact. I like the whole damn thing. I like the way that you live in my town. I like the way that I always get down. When we're not too busy climbing around, I like the whole damn thing. I like the style that you wear in your clothes. I like the way that you already know. Girl, I like the way you're making me glow. I like the whole damn thing. I like the way the hair blows in your face. I like the way that you dance with your wet face. I like your smile, I like the things that you say. I like the whole damn thing. The whole damn thing. Woo! How's everybody doing out there? Woo! What's going on, Genzi? So this is fountain. This is glass. You fill up water, go to fountain. It's the best water. There's no plastic, so you don't have to worry. You can take plastic right out of the equation. No more Dasani and Poland Springs. It's no good for you anyway, and it's bad for the environment and your health. So check out fountain. You know, it disheartens me when I'm walking down the street and I see people still throwing. Nice, cheers, Plastic Ocean. You guys are doing great. Yeah, it disheartens me when I'm walking down the street and you see people throwing out, you know, beer bottles and cans and plastic and crap. It's like, come on, do your part. You know, it's not all about you. So this one is for all those people. It's called Same Old. Same old, same. Same old behavior. When are you going to change? It's the same lives on the same TV. It's the same one, naturally. It's the same lives you're telling me, and it's the same house. Yeah, that's all I need. It's the same life, get the same damn thing. It's the same old, same old. Same old, same old. Oh, oh, oh. You watch the same same old, and say the same down there. Same lie, the same old street, and it's the same Nike's on my same 2 feet. It's the same night we had last week, and it's the same mind that brings me peace, and the same old mind that brings me disease. It's the same old me. Same old, the same old, the same old. You watch the same old, you read the same old, and say the same down there. Same old, and read the same old, and say the same damn thing. Thank you.
When does that
Yeah.
Man. Cool, man. So I'm gonna do one more.
Yeah, if you got one more queued up for us, go ahead.
All right, cool. This one's called "Find Our Way," because we're all gonna, we keep doing these things, little things, little bit by little bit. We're gonna find our way, and everything that we're doing is making a difference. So, like, props to you guys, Cushware, man. You guys are changing the world.
Everyone's just got to do a little bit. That's what it's about.
Yeah, man. That's what it's all about.
All right, I'll leave you to it.
All right, man. Here we go. Find our way. Find our way. Our souls are both on a bicycle. Feel that we're both inside your window. Do you really know how this goes? This is go until I find our way home. I'm reading your mind, you're reading my mind. Oh, mine can bright like the sunshine. We're from the same time, we've been singing the same rhyme. And love is what we have, love is what we have. go this way. What's the right way? I used to say it'll be the best thing ever. But then I find our way home. I look in your eyes, you look in my eyes. You got such wise eyes, unlock these ties. The more that time flies, the thought crosses my mind. Is this time all we have? Time is all we have. And with you, you know exactly what I'm thinking. I'm not to say, so throw me a line, don't care, I'm taking. Turn to me, you know exactly what to say. Just write it out another day. Find our way. Find our way. Hey, hey. Find a way. Find our way. I'm so top of those. Just go, just go. I'm so top of those. Just go, just go. One day, we're gonna find our way. One day, we're gonna find our way. One day, we're gonna find our way. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Find our way. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yo, what's up, Logan?
Hey, Charlie.
I've had some
Charlie,
major
what's going
technical
on, man?
issues, and your
Oh,
music,
man.
dude, your music was. Thank God you were playing your music, because I was about to put my fist through my computers and every single electrical device around me.
Oh, man. I'm so glad it worked out, man.
Dude, you are awesome, man.
Thank you so much.
Your music is
Appreciate that a lot.
beautiful, man. You're just so in tune with it. And I'm confident that all of our audience that's watching right now is like, this guy is just phenomenal, man. You just created such
Oh,
a
man.
cool environment. It was awesome, dude. Thank you so much,
Oh,
man.
cool. Oh, that means so much, man. Thank you guys so much for having me. This is so cool. I definitely want to keep doing, like, if you do this again, let me know. This is so cool.
That is awesome. So where are you located out of?
So right now I'm on Long Island.
Nice. What town?
I'm in Port Washington.
Nice, man. That is
Yeah.
awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah,
So how-
I've bounced around. I've bounced around quite a bit, but I've been here for now a year and a half.
That's all. So where? So how's the whole COVID thing been for you, man? Especially as a musician and such.
Oh man, I mean it sucks as far as playing shows.
Yeah.
But like with the bands, we were booking so many shows, we were doing so much stuff. Like for a while, we were always off to the next thing. That like this time off from doing that, I've written like 7 or 8 songs.
Wow.
Because I just had to like stay in, and I was like I would miss it so much, and I guess it was a needed break. But now I'm like, all right, now it's time to go. I'm like chomping.
Logan, I can't wait to work with you, man. As things start opening up and we start throwing music festivals and the whole nine.
Oh man,
it'd be an honor to have you part. You're such a cool
be-
dude. Your music is amazing, man.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It'd be an honor, man. That sounds like a lot of fun. Let's do it up.
That's awesome. So, question: you're welcome to play another song if you'd like.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to play another song?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Since I'm tuned in now, I can really focus now without wanting to bring. I had to change routers and to reset my Wi-Fi. All this chaos right now.
Oh man.
So to hear another song would be amazing. I could just tune in
All
right
right,
now.
sounds good, man. I'll do one. This one's called Positivity.
Oh, I love it, man. Yes.
Yeah. Picture yourself as a cloud in the sky, moving around as the world turns by. Picture yourself like a leaf on a tree, as if a by used to move so peacefully. Picture yourself like a bird in the sky. Your only limitation is how far do you wanna fly, fly. How far do you wanna fly? This world we see is up to you and me. You know, all we need is a little positivity. Hey, hey. A little positivity. Hey, hey. All that you want and all that you need. Close your eyes and it's one big dream. Don't wanna think about reality. No matter what it is, it's not as big as the same. Picture you think it's a little bit brighter. The reason you're the fight, I feel a whole lot bit lighter. Yeah. I feel a whole lot bit lighter now. The energy of which we can't see, you know, we can breathe in the positivity, yeah, 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 yeah. Picture yourself as a bird in the sky, moving around and as the world turns by. Picture yourself like a leaf on a tree, as if the fire is the most so peaceful. Picture yourself like a bird in the sky, your only limitation is so far. Do you want to fly? How far do you wanna? 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 Fly, 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 fly. How far do you wanna? Fly, 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 fly. How far do you wanna? Fly, 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 fly. How far do you wanna? I wanna fly high.
Dude, that was awesome. I needed to hear that song right now. That was awesome.
Thank you, man.
Dude, that was sick, man. Yo, thank you so much for joining us, man. This is all what it's about. It's bringing everyone together as a whole, as a collective. We support each other and we just drive towards, that's what it is. It's about a community, just human connection to just make a better world for our future.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's so cool to be a part of it. This is like awesome. This is such a good vibe. So awesome. Everybody that's been on today has been so like informative and chill and cool. It's like this is what everybody needs.
I can't wait for these future projects, man. Now to start coming together, and you got such great personality too, man. I really can't wait to work with you. We're gonna have a lot of fun and doing some cool shit, man.
Man. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool. Well, Logan, thank you, dude. Thank you so much again. And all right, so do you want to say anything to the audience before you dip out?
No, I mean just if you never heard my music or anything, check it out. Go to Instagram, Logan Whaley Music. Spotify. Just save it. There's only one thing there, but there's gonna be eight new songs coming up by the end of the year. I'm real excited about.
You heard that, Logan Whaley Music. He's awesome. Follow him, support him. Local Long Island guy. Be there for this dude. So
thank you, man.
Yeah,
You're
cool.
the best.
All right, dude. Take it easy, bro.
Oh man, thank you so much.
All right. So I had some technical difficulties. And as long, yes, all the time you always want to keep things as professional and moving as possible. And Steve, you're the man. Thank you so much. He really pulled through big time, and he jumped right in, took over for me while I'm on the back end. And I'm going to share a little story with you what just happened with me. So my local provider of my internet decides on having their blackout as this is going on. And again, and I'm going to share this pain point with you because this can happen to us at any time. So all of a sudden, internet drops, things are all funky, and I'm sitting here like, oh, this is not good. Steve, I need your help. And he's like, oh no. so
I hate that stuff.
You crushed it. Thank you.
I'm definitely a behind the camera person, but I hope we're still going, so it's good.
We're still going. So as I'm sitting here and I'm changing routers and resetting computers and opening up second computers and losing my mind about what is going on and about to put my fist through every single electronic device in my office, I'm listening to Logan's music and he's keeping me calm, cool, and collective, saying, all right, you know what? I can get through this. So that was awesome. Steve, you're the man. I'm just saying that right now, and the whole audience should know that Steve saved my butt tonight. So thank you. And yes, so we have some really cool guests coming up, and in regards to Plastic Ocean Project, I am so sorry that happened, and I'm going to listen back to what you and Steve spoke about, and I would love to have you guys again on another episode in the future. Your project is amazing, and as far as I got into it, and until at the point I couldn't hear anything anymore, I was so just taken back, like, wow, these guys are real. I love the whole thing too, where you're planting the trees from the collection, from as another reward about picking up the garbage. So before I introduce our next guest, I just wanted to share a quick little video with you guys. This video was done to show you that Kush has been around for quite a while doing this whole sustainability thing. Again, Kush stands for keeping us sustainably healthy. We have video back from I think 2012, 2013, where we actually did a coastal cleanup when we teamed up with Operation Splash in Long Island. And our goal was to clean up all of the marshes in the inner waterways. So Steve, you could jump in with that clip, and then right after we'll introduce Mickey. All right. So, by the way, does this banner look familiar? And it was pretty wild seeing myself, 8 years ago. What a young face. But that whole video, to give you an idea of what it was, we had over 13 schools on the South Shore of Long Island come together with, we had a few hundred volunteers coming out. It's all a matter of doing our part, and that's what it's all about. And that's what SDG 14 is. It's about identifying the life below water. And we should all be conscious about this and proactive about ensuring the health of our oceanic systems. So, and that's why I'm really excited to introduce our new guest. So we have Mickey, and Mickey's from the Ocean First Institute, and I was sent over some clips of what she's going to be showing us, and I wanted to be surprised by this because I think this is going to blow your mind as it's going to blow my mind as well. So, Mickey, welcome to Planting Seeds.
Well, hello, Charlie. Thank you so much for having me on tonight.
I love the background, by the way, too. The whole blue theme. And
there you go. It's the water.
So, when I was looking into you guys, I was like, this is great. I mean, you guys are a phenomenal. And what's wild too, and we're going to get into this later, I think people are going to be very surprised geographically where you guys are located.
Yes.
So tell us, what is the Ocean First Institute?
Yeah, so the Institute was started 5 years ago. I was living in Florida and ended up coming to Colorado, of all places, and living in Boulder, and really wanted to merge my two passions, and that is research as well as educating the public about what's happening and really using storytelling as an opportunity to get people engaged in what's happening. And so we combined education and research really with the goal of conservation. And so the Institute, we run a lot of in-school programs to teach kids about ocean literacy and what's happening in the ocean today, with a really positive message of it's the very small things that each one of us can do to really make a difference. And our research that we do in the field really brings the stories to life about iconic wildlife out there and their stories and some of the struggles they're facing and what some of those struggles are. And again, how all of us can be part of the solution if we just knew what was happening.
What made you decide 5 years ago that this was it?
I think it's just because I've been a researcher for so long and I love my academic research, but I feel like it's a disservice if that academic research and those stories don't reach as wide of an audience as possible. And so I really feel that it's important to take research to the next level and to really use it as a tool to engage the public, to engage young people in this movement, to really understand what's happening and to learn the very simple things that each of us can do every day to make a big difference. Even if you live in Colorado, the ocean impacts us every single day and we impact it. And so it's a simple story, but it's a complicated one because we don't learn about the ocean in schools. Kids don't learn about that, and it's really silly. And so we are aiming to change that and to create a whole generation of kids who get it and who want to make a difference and will make a difference.
You are on the right show right now because that's what we're all about. It's bringing the education, the sustainability education, to call to action, micro baby steps, and understanding how to start getting involved and, mixing it in. And, that's why we have the entertainers here as well, because the entertainers here are part of creating this vibe. And you know what? We're educating them. They're entertaining us. And now they get to educate their audience, the people that they like, that are following the music. Right. So Mickey, wild. So how is it running an oceanic conservation group out of Boulder?
It's a blast, honestly, because we get to talk about our passion and the things that we love with people here, and we also get to go and do our research around the world. And I take students with me on a lot of the expeditions. So we train students how to scuba dive, and then we take them underwater with us to do research. And I'm really passionate about teaching students how to do science and what science really is, so that they can really get excited about it and understand that, being a scientist isn't geeky at all. It's really the adventure of a lifetime. And I want to share that with young people because it's, being able to answer questions and, test things and you're almost like a detective and trying to figure out past ecosystems and why do we have megalodon sharks and why aren't they here anymore? I mean, there's so many cool questions, that we can ask and try to understand. What does that mean for the future?
I love that. It's so true too, because I have a lot of friends that are cultural anthropologists, and some of the videos that they show me where they're doing these massive expeditions through jungles and zip lining here and climbing mountains and going into caves. I'm like, that's not geeky at all. You got to have some. You got to have.
It's true. You when you're a scientist, you never know what you're going to discover, and you have to be very inventive. When I go out on research trips, I have to create equipment and I deploy cameras underwater and I'm trying to see movements of animals at night, and so I have to come up with ways to rig lights and to deploy equipment at depths which aren't good for cameras, and it's cold, and so you have to be incredibly creative and resourceful, and duct tapes and zip ties and things like that to save the day.
That is awesome. So how often do you go out on expeditions?
It depends on the year, but I might go on 7 or 8 trips a year, depending on my schedule and what's going on. I've got a couple of trips coming up here in about a month, which is going to be really exciting. I'm going to be going to Nantucket, so working kind of off the Northeast Atlantic, and then another up in Canada, up in Nova Scotia. So I'm really excited to do those.
That is beautiful. Have you hit the Northeast?
I
yeah.
I was in Canada last November, deploying those underwater cameras, looking for great white sharks. It was really amazing, and it's a beautiful area, and lots of seals and sea lions, which is one of the reasons the sharks are there, and just gorgeous. It's a beautiful place.
Those are my old stomping grounds. I used to live on a trawler, so it was just it was a blast hitting those areas. So tell me now, when so do you have your own vessel or do you charter?
We don't have a vessel. So usually when I go out on a trip, we either will commandeer a vessel for our whole crew, or if we're doing a collaboration and there's a vessel involved, for instance, the trip I'm coming up on soon is with OSearch. And so that's a collaborative opportunity where a lot of scientists work together on the vessel. And it's just a really cool platform for a lot of different researchers to collect a lot of data on animals that are there. So it's a neat thing. But yeah, we go all over the place. I have a lot of research I do down in Costa Rica. And when we do that, we rent vessels and commandeer boats.
That's awesome. That's it. I want your job.
Fun one. I love it.
So, by the way, have you ever worked with the Sea Shepherd before? Just out of curiosity.
I have met him, but I have never been out on.
You've met Captain Paul?
Yeah, I have.
That's cool.
But I've never been out on a trip with them at all. I haven't done that yet.
I'll link. I have. I'm working with some of them out, and right now they have their sailing vessel in Newport Beach, and I'll gladly make an introduction. And because I have to go out there anyway, they're begging me to go out there to sail from there to Catalina. So I was like, all right, cool, perfect.
Nice.
So, yes. Yeah, I'm gonna heel that thing right over and put it on a full tack and get that thing cruising at 10 knots. So tell me, I know you have some videos lined up, and I'm looking at the titles of some of these videos, and I didn't pre-watch them because I want to be surprised, because I'm like, wow, okay.
Great.
And I think our audience is going to be as excited to see some of these videos. So you tell Steven which one that you would want to queue up first, and let's jump into it.
Well, sure. I'll just do a little primer for you. So, as I mentioned, my background is in research, and my passion and my you know, my excitement comes from studying sharks. That's my big thing, and sharing their true story. You know, they are amazing creatures with a long history on our planet. They're just amazing. There's over 500 species. They all have different adaptations. You know, their story is truly incredible. They live through 5 mass extinction events, and some of them lay eggs and some of them give birth to live young. So they're truly fascinating animals to study. And one of the ones that I have spent a lot of time studying are hammerheads. They're my all-time favorite. They have such a cool story. They're you know, they're the most recently evolved sharks in the ocean, and we don't really know exactly why they have the weird head shape. I studied their weird heads for a really long time, and you know, just trying to get your arms around the diversity that we see in sharks, and also understanding that right now, you know, sharks are in trouble globally. Not all of them, but several species are in peril, and it's mainly overfishing and for shark fin soup. And so as I've had a research career and did a lot of work in physiology and things like that, as I continue to do research, I really have discovered so much more that's happening to the ocean. And so I use sharks as a hook now to really talk to people about some of the big issues that are facing the ocean today. And again, using these opportunities as, you know, conversation starters for people to understand why sustainability and some of the things that we do are so important. So I'd love to share with you.
Wait, real quick, before you jump into that video, you just blew my mind with one big fact. So hammerheads are the newest evolved shark species?
Oh my gosh. So their story will blow your mind. Yes. So they are the most recent sharks. They're the newest kids on the block.
Wow. Okay.
So not very long, maybe 10 to 12 million years. So in shark time, that's nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah.
That's nothing. And then what's also cool about them is there's not just one. So you might think, oh, hammerheads, you know, scalloped hammerheads, the weird looking one. Well, there's actually 9 hammerhead species, and they all have different gradations of their head expansion. So some of them look almost like normal sharks, and then others look like literally boomerang heads.
Yes, yes.
So crazy. And then everything in between. And so some of the genetics that we did early on with them shows the weirdest one came first. And so as they've separated out, their heads are kind of getting more and more normal, for whatever normal really is, kind of that pointed nose shark head. But the fascinating thing about it is, you know, if you have a head that's stretched out 3 feet wide, what has that done to where your eyes are, to where your nostrils are, to your head, which is full of all kinds of sensories, systems like the electrosense, so sharks detect weak electric fields. So if your head is a huge 3 foot wide cephalofoil, what has happened to all of those sensory systems? And that's something that I studied, and it's just fascinating.
That's really wild too, that you said that the weirdest ones, like that boomerang style one, was the first one. Yeah. I would think that was the later on evolution.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's like, as a scientist, you're like,
becoming more normal. Like, wait, what is going? Why did that mutation happen?
Exactly, and we think that's it. It was some sort of random weird mutation that was not so bad
and
that
thrived.
Persisted, and then these animals, you know, geographically moved on and created new species, as they do. And each of these species are really unique. Some of them get to be 18 feet long, big.
Yeah, huge. Yeah.
Others 3-4 feet. So they're just really a weird story. You know, the size disparity, the head shape is just, they're freaky.
I'm loving this conversation right now because I'm being schooled on something that I really have such a passion about sharks as well.
Yeah.
And just, you know, it's that inner, you know, the inner, you know, shark fan boy, I guess.
Oh, I tell you, yeah, they're amazing. Have you spent a lot of time in the water with them? Have you?
No. I'm not an in the water person. I'm more so like on top of a floating platform.
Well, you should come diving with me sometime. I could introduce you to the world of sharks underwater, which is the best way to see them.
I will take you up on that because I'm trying to get more adventurous and going under the water. I'm starting with my lake.
Look out for bull sharks. You never know.
No, my lake is good. The most dangerous thing in there is a snapper turtle. I'll be with him. So, but Yeah, let's jump in with this clip. I can't wait to see what this is.
Well, cool. So one of the first ones, let's do this. Stephen, if you can cue up the Measuring White Sharks video, this is a really cool.
Measuring white sharks. Okay.
So I was invited out to an area called Guadalupe in Mexico. It's off of Baja. It's like an 18-hour boat ride to the middle of nowhere, and you're on a rock. And I was invited out there because there was an opportunity to try to understand the sizes of these sharks, which come back year after year, and they know individuals based on body markings. And so the question is, well, how big are these animals? Great whites get to about a maximum size of 22 feet. And so the question is, how big are some of these? Like Deep Blue is a very famous white shark that sometimes goes to Guadalupe. And so the question is, how big are they? And so we wanted to develop a technique that would allow us to measure the sharks without dragging them out of the water. And so I met with students here in Colorado, asked them to help solve this problem with me. And we came up with a non-invasive technique. And the students helped me build this rig using, it's called twin laser photogrammetry. And so if we can roll the video, I'll show you how it's done. And it's really cool. All right, cool. So, sorry, there's sound on that one. You can turn the sound off. So I'm here. I'm about 30 feet down in a cage in Guadalupe. And you can see I'm holding that rig. It's got two green lasers on the ends, and they're set 50 centimeters apart. And in the middle is a GoPro camera. And so all you need to do is, as the shark swims by, you can shine those two laser lights right onto the side of the shark. And then when you go back up to the vessel, you can download the video footage and use computer software and easily say, all right, this part of the shark is 50 centimeters. So how much is the total length of the shark? Or any other part of the shark you're interested in, like the fin length, weight.
Yeah. That's so non-invasive too, because I've seen it where they pull the sharks up out of the water, nearly getting killed themselves and just trying to drag, these big giant tape measures across them.
Yeah. So this is it's a really simple way to, collect more data. And so, at Guadalupe, they know the individuals, they know the sex of the animals. And so, by now collecting data, we can really see, easily how long these sharks are. And it helps us as they come back year after year after year to be able to, measure these animals and see what's going on. So it's, so simple and so easy. And so the next video, if we can do, is Caribbean reef sharks. And so this one is really fun. I go to the Exumas in the Bahamas quite often. And I take students with me and train them on doing basically that same technique. So we've created a global database. And so this is one of my students here, and she's got the laser rig you can see there, and she's getting herself all set up, and then cue the Caribbean reef sharks that will swim right by. And she's able to then measure the animals and collect data underwater. So in just 1 second, you'll see the Caribbean reef shark, which are so they would never cause any problems. But you can see the water's gin clear, totally beautiful. And this is such a passionate project for me, because students are diving, they're going underwater, they're overcoming their fear of the stereotypical shark monster, and they're actually collecting data, and then they upload this to our online citizen science database. And it's really cool. So from start to finish, they're really involved in the scientific process. And for me, that's as cool as it gets, because they're doing something to help conserve wildlife. I've been on airplanes with them as they're coming home, and they're talking to the stewardesses about what they did. So it's cool. And, they're seeing that science isn't, boring and beakers and lab coats, and stuff like that. It's going out there and trying to make a difference to save animals that don't have a voice. And it's pretty powerful.
Isn't it amazing too, when you have students participating and all of a sudden you impact them and they get that aha moment and they sit there, and it's like, to me, that's the most inspiring piece of this is, working with the future and inspiring the future. Like, look, we'll help guide you. We'll give you the solutions we have now, but figure out the next steps, figure out the next solutions.
Yeah, I would tell you that's probably my elixir in life, is that I believe so strongly in you know, paying it forward and trying to get these students to have the opportunities that, you know, will open doors for them to allow them to thrive and to really, you know, like you just said, create the tools of tomorrow that we don't even know of, and to solve the problems that, you know, my generation has created, like plastic pollution. And, you know, so many of the issues that are out there are just heartbreaking. But, you know, we do have solutions, and they will be the ones that come up with these creative opportunities and solutions that will be implemented in their lifetime. And, you know, that's, to me, that's really important. It's really critically important to let them know they can do something. And to also, I think the other big part of it is to show them that the problem isn't so big that you have to be paralyzed.
Yes.
You know, because that's another really bad thing. I hear a lot of adults are like, oh, it's too late. It's all over, you know, and it's not. Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. And this is why I'm so honored that you're on the show with us. I mean, KUSH stands for keeping us sustainably healthy. And we're really trying to drive this, like, of bringing real, tangible, sustainable education and sustainable tactics that work, to bring it to the education and show the younger population that, hey, there's things out there that you guys can get involved with and be a part of. And think about, you know, with what you're doing. I mean, this is phenomenal. The experiential learning component of this is you're in the water with sharks. You're in the water with real nature and real wildlife. You know, normally me, I'm in a mountain somewhere, and I'll see bears. I'll see, you know, the deer or an elk. You know, I saw a moose in Alaska, which, you know, was awesome. I do have a fear of going in the water. I'm not going to lie. I have to get over it.
Yeah, no,
But
very real.
You're bringing it into that natural environment, into the ocean, getting people to see it, getting people to explore it. That's the type of the education and experiential learning that it's so important for everyone who's coming up and wants to give and live with impact and live with purpose. There's things out here like this that exist to get involved with and to be participant on. So you don't have to just sit and vicariously live through a phone. You could join in and be a part of this. So how can people help Ocean First Institute?
Yeah, you know, I think a big part of it is just what you said, understanding that it's very small things that people can do every day that really do add up. And that even though we're in Colorado, for instance, that the things that we do here have an impact. And so we know that 80% of the plastic pollution that ends up in the ocean comes from land. And so, you know, our rivers and streams are conduits to our ocean. And so, you know, things that we do here matter. And so one of the things that I would encourage people to do is to get involved in organizations in your local communities that are trying to make a difference. And one of the things that I'm passionate about here in Colorado, so I do a lot of research and take people places to the ocean, but I also believe strongly in really working in our own backyard. And so I have 2 more projects to tell you about that I'm super excited about. One of those is that this year we started a plastic pollution monitoring program. And so I've got 2 high schools that go out with me into nearby streams, and we collect sediment and water samples and then go back into the school, and we use some really cool things that we've created with PVC pipes and sieves and stuff like that. And we look through all of the sediments, and we look for microfibers and microplastics. And microfibers are the things that come out of your clothing, when you have synthetic clothing. And it's so bizarre. You won't believe this, Charlie, but it literally is raining microfibers right now. And there was a researcher in Rocky Mountain National Park who was doing a study on rain. And so he had rain gauges all through the park. And when he was processing those samples, found microfibers in all of those samples. And so it's coming from, it's raining plastic right now, which is unbelievable.
How? Yeah, what is going on? How are those molecules even getting up there? It's crazy.
So they're lightweight enough where they're getting pulled out into the atmosphere, and then it's raining back down as part of the water cycle. So it's a little terrifying to think about, the impact of all of that. And so
Yeah.
as part of an awareness campaign, we started this this project to get kids to sample the water and the sediments to look for the presence of these small pieces of plastic and fibers. And we're finding them, unfortunately.
Wow.
And so then the question is, okay, what do we do? So
Yeah.
then thinking about how do we wash our clothes? What kind of clothes do we buy? Do we want to buy, you know, nylon and synthetic clothing, or should we try to think about cotton and going to a thrift store and buying used clothes, which sounds a little weird, but you know, there are ways for us to minimize the new production of these cheap synthetic clothes. And so, and it doesn't sound like it would have a big impact, but it does. And I think the next step in the research with that is really looking at how does the presence of those plastics and fibers in the bodies of these animals impact their physiology. And
Yes.
ultimately us, we're eating about a credit card size worth of plastic every year.
Don't say that. Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, come on. No. I hope you all heard that. Everyone who's listening in right now, that's for real.
It's so amazing. So that's one big one. And again, you know, thinking about plastic in our rivers, think about what's happening out there in the ocean with gyres full of plastics entangling marine life and things like that. So again, what you buy, what you wear, you know, the packaging things come in, you know, thinking about using and not purchasing endless tubes of toothpaste. You know, there are things that you can buy that will replace the gargantuan amounts of waste and packaging that we utilize every day. So there's just small little things like that, and it can become almost a game. It's kind of fun to think about how many things in your house you can replace with more sustainable products and things like that. So that's a big part of our education programs. And then the next project I would love to share with you is a really big one for me. And you're going to laugh so hard. So when COVID hit, we had just introduced a project in schools where we were going to have them aquaculture a Colorado state endangered fish species.
Huh.
And so we had the tanks all set up in the schools and at this big innovation center and had the fish delivered. And we were so excited. And then COVID hit. And the schools were like, Mickey, you're going to have to take the fish back wherever that would be. So they're in my basement. So
No, how many fish do you have in your basement right now?
I have 7 fish tanks, big ones, and 1 big cattle tank. And the fish have been breeding like crazy.
Oh, wait.
I have all of these Colorado state endangered fish in my basement, and they are going to be released
Nice.
back into the wild as part of a reintroduction program.
When are you doing this?
So we just had the fish tested for disease to make sure that they don't have any diseases. And then that was the one barrier before we could do release. So we're hoping within about a month, right before things get a little chilly, that we'll be able to release those hundreds of fish back into the wild as part of a reintroduction program. So it ties beautifully into, you know, looking at the rivers, looking at the health of the river, and then, you know, reintroducing these species that have been eradicated, you know, mainly because of changes in the environment. All kinds of habitat shifts have changed and made it very difficult for some of these fish to continue to survive. So we're
It's too fast for them to acclimate. You know, things are changing too. I mean, I deal a lot above ground again, like with native bees, and we're seeing the same thing with native bees. It's just, you know, as we're transitioning to a lot of our green lawns and all of these pesticides, and all of a sudden we're just introducing all these things in, which also goes into our water, which affects the, you know, our freshwater systems and our saltwater systems. A lot of nature just can't acclimate quick enough.
Yeah.
And they get decimated, and it's really sad to see. The ones that do acclimate, I mean, they're turning into these evolutionary mutant machines that
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. There's just so many challenges, you know, habitat changes, and then, like you said, you know, chemical changes that are occurring, temperature changes. You know, we're seeing sharks right now moving their migratory patterns more poleward, and that
Wow.
most likely is because they're following their fish food,
Right, yeah.
which are starting to move poleward. So, I mean, we're seeing some pretty dramatic changes, and, you know, it's important for us to get these baseline data so that we can see really the acceleration of some of these changes. But again, introducing students into this process and letting them see, how they can be part of, growing these fish and being part of that reintroduction party. And, those are really meaningful moments that I hope someday will change the trajectory of some of these students, lives. And hopefully they'll become champions for the wildlife. And
Yes.
really, it's cool to care about these animals that don't have a voice. It's, you don't have to go, everybody doesn't have to go into the business world to make $1 million. There are so many things that are just so critically important and really a life's work that's worth doing.
And not, and that's the big part of what the message of what we're trying to convey here is. I like to call it an ethical form of capitalism, where it's great. You want to start a business? Start a business that's going to create beneficial impact. Start a business that's going to create a healthier society of our future. So bring solutions to the table such as that. We don't need any more of these trinkets that just sit on our counter because we were spontaneity of a purchase of saying that looks cute, I want it on my counter. So it's being, we have to be proactive consumers at the same time. And I love that you really hit upon that. It's being conscious of what we're purchasing.
Yeah.
You blew my mind with the microplastics. That really scares me. That
Sorry.
Microplastics raining on us. That's insanity. That's like sci-fi level stuff. Soon it's going to be burning our skin. And
I know. Why? I mean, that's the thing is like, why do we allow this? And, that's because we collectively need to have the education. People need to know. And until they know, until they have the facts, they're not going to demand change. And like you said, when then you can start thinking, hey, do I need another tube of toothpaste, or should I buy these, chewable toothpaste pellets? There are so many, and it's just like you said, there's so many cool, innovative, sustainable products that are coming from geniuses out there, and they're using, biomimicry. So they're looking to nature for the solutions to some of the issues. I mean, how cool is that? Evolution has been happening for, since the beginning of time. And so using what has happened in these adaptations in these animals to the environment is the ultimate test. And so we've learned from, geckos how to use, things to help us.
Yes. I'm still trying to figure out the adhesive of a barnacle. If I can figure out the adhesive of a barnacle, I've just invented the best adhesive that could exist on this planet.
Yeah, it's amazing. So nature inspires us in so many ways, from products that we can use through, understanding the mechanism behind it, the biomechanics of it, and, to going to the beach and looking at the water and appreciating it, then to getting, sustainable fish to eat. It feeds our planet, and looking at how we're going to protect those resources and make sure they're here for generations to come. I mean, there's so much work to be done, and so many people that can fill those important roles for sure.
You're tackling so many awesome, cool issues. You're so passionate about it. I love your passion. This is so cool. I want you on this show more often.
I love it.
So, all right. So I'm going to go back to the microplastics, and then I'm going to hit the sharks with two questions. All right. So on the microplastics end of things and the microfibers, have you noticed if there's anything in nature that is attempting to combat it? Because, I've read that there's some fungus that consumes plastics. Are you guys noticing anything locally that's combating it?
I don't know. I did read some research that there was some bacterial opportunities perhaps to digest plastics. I think another big push that we've seen is not really plastic related, but replacing our everyday disposable plastics with other products like paper plates are now leaves, things like that, kind of trying to divert off of the petroleum-based products. I don't know the answer.
So paper plates are petroleum based?
Using, like disposable plates.
Yeah.
Plastic plates. But, I've seen plates that are made of leaves and, so they're trying to.
Those are cool.
really cool, new, innovative solutions to kind of these single-use plastics. I don't know the answer. I think really the answer to that is, an industry that's responsible for the waste that it generates. You've probably talked a lot on your show about cradle to grave and ownership of companies that produce massive amounts of plastic bottles. Should they be responsible for the disposal of those? If it costs
That was
them
actually brought up on our last show. Exactly that. It's what is that? Should they be responsible, and what is the compliance around it? That should there be legislation that matches that?
I think there has to be a disincentive for this prolific production of cheap plastics. And until that happens, I think, with, governments and, kind of a global awareness and push, it's going to be tough, because right now it's up to the consumers to be educated and to say no and to pay more for sustainable products, which is so dumb. We shouldn't have to pay more for doing the right thing.
The right thing. It's bizarre. I'm not going to go down this deep hole because this is a deep rabbit hole. But the whole thing of certified organic, the cost for a farm to just state itself as certified organic, just because the USDA owns the trademark of the word organic, blows my mind.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like, you're just going to make healthy food more expensive and less attainable to the general public because of that stupid trademark label.
Right. Which is just, it really makes you start to think about protecting yourself and not just trusting a system that maybe isn't geared towards our health, and really kind of thinking critically about what we put into our bodies, and again what we purchase, and what we value. I think it's really important to think about that, and it's not easy because we're busy, and it's easy to go get food or order food that has been made delivered to your house, but think about the nightmare in all of the packaging, with all of those kinds of convenience items. And I think that's really part of it, is we're so busy we don't have time to live anymore. We're just so busy we don't have time to cook or eat or do anything. We're just on this treadmill.
Well, see, I'm trying to find my personal balance. I was living that New York race for quite a while, and I was forced into it. A hurricane wiped me out, and I was like, okay. So I moved on top of a mountain on a lake and chopped wood for almost a whole year.
Wow.
Just thinking. And I'm like, what can I do to help people? And trying to understand, like, okay, if the average household salary is this, what can I do to take that and turn it into, or find a solution to turn it into a comfort salary?
Yeah.
So I started living like that for a little bit. I'm like, all right, started growing my own food, built a greenhouse. My first few years, I screwed up royally. Couldn't get anything to grow in the ground. The damn deer ate everything. No matter how many barriers I put up, the deer got through it, or the gopher got through it, or whatever. The birds are flying in, eating everything. I'm like, what the? Why is it so hard? But now I'm to the point where it's like I'm finding these cool comfort spots. We're cooking at home almost every night now, and we appreciate it so much more. My wife crochets all the time, so she makes our hats for us and our gloves for us in the winter. And I'm loving this, and I'm sitting back like, you know what? This is pretty chill. So now when we do go out, it becomes a luxury. And we're conscious even where we go out to eat, to making sure that, is this a restaurant that supports sustainable solutions? Are they composting, or are they giving excess food out to, out to kitchens and such?
Yeah.
And just, it's that whole experience. And that's what we're trying, me personally, I'm looking at this as the life I lived before. We were going out to eat. I went out to eat almost every meal, but besides breakfast, every lunch and dinner, I'm always out, and it became a routine, and it became expected. And then now it's just, now it's just when we think of the word sustainability, and I keep saying this, and I'm always going to say this, everyone thinks just ecological.
Yeah.
But sustainability is so broad. It's economic, it's personal health, personal mental health, well-being, family sustainability, community sustainability. So that's why this month we have the SDG 14 Life Below Water, because what we want to try to do is that you could get so enveloped with the word sustainability and try to do everything at once. So no, let's break it down. Once a month, here's a theme, here's a call to action. Let's all move as one together, and let's educate ourselves all as one together. And with you on the show right now, I know that there's a ton of people on that are watching right now that are saying, Mickey is awesome, and I want to go diving with Mickey also.
Wow, that was a very cool story about your life, and I mean, that's the ultimate way to slow down and reframe it, and really look at what you're doing and why you're doing. And that's an important part, I think, of everyone's story is, if we have the ability to slow down and stop and think and look and feel and, kind of reset. And I think COVID has been a weird opportunity for some people to do just that. And I think that, even us being inside so much, we've seen nature responding in a very positive way, which is also, I think, a testament to nature's resiliency and the opportunities that we have to help nature reset. And ultimately, when we help nature, we help ourselves.
I want to jump into that with you with the sharks. So you led perfectly into my next question with that. That was awesome. You're my co-host from now on. Okay. So with the sharks, so a two-part question to this. One is in relation to COVID, and you kind of answered it. And I want you to go further into this, where do you feel that COVID is helping the oceanic systems for the sharks habitat? And two, with everything that is happening with the climate change, with the pollution, are you seeing a consistency of change upon species of either, reduced population or new way of acclimation of evolution? Are they getting more territorial? Are you seeing behavioral changes? So what do you, I'll leave.
With respect to, people going inside and I think having kind of a break from, the day-to-day, the burning of fossil fuels, the people going out in fishing vessels, there's definitely been a big break for wildlife in the ocean. And so I think we're anecdotally seeing a lot of, we've seen dolphins returning to, the canals in Venice, and we're seeing amazing pods of whales swimming near shore in places they've been seen in 70 years. So anecdotally, there's all kinds of weird things that are happening, and it could be that there is a lack of disruption from human activity that these animals are responding to. I know here locally, we have elk populations. You talked a little bit about that. And, we've seen some of these animals moving into areas. We've even had some panthers coming through lions. And it's just because I think there's not as much traffic, there's not as much disruption. And I think we're seeing that in the ocean too. What does it mean long term? I don't know. I think it, for me, highlights an opportunity that we have to, really think about that we can shut down and we can reset some of the ways, we conduct ourselves on a daily basis. And if we could just hold on to that and not restart and go back to, kind of the usual norm that we had before, it would be amazing. I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we will do that, but I am hopeful that people have had a moment to notice and think about, some of the things that they're seeing outside their windows, or if they live by the water, some of the amazing abundance of wildlife they're seeing closer in. So I think it's an opportunity for us to, rethink our relationship with nature, I hope, and engage those that don't think about it very much. And that, includes a lot of young people and a lot of older people. I talked earlier about some older people sometimes throw their arms up and say it's too late. Well, it's never too late. And, we have an opportunity always to do better every single day. And that's the beauty of nature, is it's resilient. And if we give it the opportunities and the chances, it will come back and it will sustain us, because we rely on it every single day. It's our home.
Yes, I love that answer, by the way. I love that. And everyone who's listening, I mean, she just nailed it. There's that. She nailed it.
Well, cool. I have another video maybe we could show just to
keep going. Yeah.
Let's see here. Why don't we? So this is another really cool research project I'm working on. So we drop cameras underwater with bait, and we will use different light regimes to try to see what animals are there. So, Stephen, if you can play it's called a BRUV. If you can play that clip by chance, it's going to show kind of one of our normal deployments, and I can kind of talk through a little bit more about what it is like.
I was wondering what that title was, by the way, bruv. What are we going to see here?
Yeah, it stands for Baited Remote Underwater Video.
Cool.
And so what you're looking at is it's a GoPro camera on a little cage, and that's a Caribbean reef shark in the Exumas coming in to check it out. And so when you drop these cameras, the whole goal is to put them in areas where you can ask questions about the species that you might find. Are these males or females? How quickly do they come into the bait? And that kind of can help you calculate some abundance, indices on these animals. Are they living by reefs? Are they out in the sand? You can start to kind of tease out some questions about habitat use. And so I'm really excited that we'll be using this. I've been deploying this in Canada, but we'll be trying to expand this project using some acoustic listening stations. We have sharks that have tags in them, and so we can pick up their signals, and we can also try to figure out where these animals are going, and whether or not they're active at night or at twilight. I did a lot of vision studies on sharks and found that their eyes are really cued into that twilight time.
Really?
And you also hear a lot of people say, don't swim during dusk and dawn.
Yeah.
Well, sharks are really tuned to that time. And that's a time when some fish are going to bed and some fish are waking up. And so it's a time of confusion and change. And sharks cue in on that. And if they have a slight visual advantage, it literally could be a life or death advantage. So
look at how opportunistic that little evolutionary trait is.
Yeah. And you wouldn't
imagine just waking up as a fish and just saying, all right. And then all of a sudden the shark is just there because it electrically sensed you and it could see you. And it's like, nope, you're mine.
Yeah. Game over. Like, what do you do? How do you fight that? You just can't hide.
That I love that too. So did you design that that stick on the GoPro?
Well, you know what? Everybody's using their own kind of method on that. It's something that a lot of people are using to answer questions, and some of them are pelagic, meaning that they're hanging a little bit down below the surface of the water. And that one that you saw was a benthic one. It was on the bottom of the seafloor. So depending on your question, depending on the depth and in which you're operating, you might choose to do one of those pelagics. And that's cool because when I go out to Nantucket, I'm sure going to find, I'm hoping, some makos, blue sharks, white sharks.
You're going to get threshers?
Yeah, threshers. The tail? Are you kidding me?
I remember the first time I caught a thresher.
Oh, that must have been unbelievable.
I had no idea anything about that. Was the first time I've ever seen a thresher in my entire life. And all of a sudden, as it's coming up and I see it whip its tail, and that tail length is almost the length of the body.
Oh, yeah.
It really hits me. I'm like, what the heck was that? Like, what the heck? Flew out of the water and nearly just slapped me in my face.
Yeah. They're so unbelievable. Their tail smack is so powerful that they can break apart water molecules. I mean, they are unbelievable. And as you know, they use that tail as a weapon to stun fish so they can spin around and then get those 2-3 fish into their mouth. So it's a physical adaptation to maximize the feeding success in these thresher sharks. And their tails are huge. It's like they're the Indiana Jones of the shark world.
Yeah. And they are just a solid mass of muscle.
Oh, yeah.
It was just amazing. I did a catch and release, by the way, so it went back in.
That's good. I had to take you down later.
So when are you heading to Nantucket?
I should be going second week of August.
Really?
Yeah, not too long from now. Maybe 3 weeks or so.
If you'd like any guests, I'd love to potentially join you for a dive,
All right.
or even up in Nova Scotia. I think that might be you. You might have a hard time up in Nova Scotia, though, aren't
Oh,
you?
yeah.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to quarantine.
I'm not sure. We're kind of trying to figure all of that out right now. We have some COVID protocols, and we're working through all of that right now. And
Just take a boat there. You'll be good.
yeah, in fact, I think that is what we'll do.
Yeah, that's what you should do. Bypass the. Don't even go over land. Just go. I don't know. I didn't realize we're in Canada oceans now.
I think that's what we'll be doing. So yeah, but yeah, I'm super excited, and as anybody who does research, it's in your blood and you love it. And again, it's like being a sleuth. We're trying to unravel mysteries and figure out where these animals are going and where they give birth, and what's going on with them. We have ones that are going to the Bermuda Triangle, and we had one that went all the way from Nova Scotia to Louisiana in just a very short amount of
Around
time.
the Panhandle?
Yeah,
Get out of here.
it's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole different. That's a whole different salinity and everything of water. A body of water, temperature, everything.
Yeah, and it was like within a month. I mean, think about how much swimming. And this is a big girl, like a 17-foot female. So it's just amazing what some of these new technologies are allowing us to understand, and again, try to use that information for really good management and conservation.
That is all. Mickey, I just want to thank you so much for joining in on the show. I've had you on here for a long time. You're probably getting sick of me by now. Yeah. Is there anything that you'd like to leave off with our audience? And we're definitely going to be in touch, and I would love to. We're going to work together. I know it. So
Perfect. Yeah. Well, I think on your screen, you can see there, that is our website, oceanfirstinstitute.org /take action. That's a page that kind of details some of the things that we talked about today. Sustainable seafood, clothing products, choices, plastics. What do you do if you go to takeout and you get something that you don't think is really sustainable? Can you bring something with you to take that food home with you if you choose to go out? So there's all kinds of solutions, and our Take Action page is just a resource to help people start thinking about the little things that they can do to really have an impact and to make a difference. And learn more about our organization. If you happen to be in Colorado, we take volunteers. We have people who help us on river cleanups. We're doing all kinds of stuff all the time, so we'd love to have you involved with us.
that is awesome. I love it. And that's what the whole Kush community is about, is finding those local spots to get involved with, to be a part of, to take action. It feels good, but we don't want people to feel like it's a chore.
Right.
It's not a chore doing something good. Go out there, have fun. Like our beach cleanup was a blast. We cleaned up garbage for a few hours, and then we just all hung out on the beach. One of them knew yoga. Yoga. I'm like, this is great. This is a fun day out. So
it is. It's fantastic. We do a lot of river cleanups, and then we have music, and we play the banjo and all kinds of fun instruments. And people.
You play the banjo?
I don't play, but I have the banjo. It's pretty cool.
I was like, wow, she's the coolest person on earth.
I wish. All right, I'm going to learn the banjo, and I'll come back. I'll play for you.
Well, Mickey, thank you so much. We are going to be in touch. You're definitely going to be invited onto the show again in the future.
Right. Well, thank you, Charlie, for having me, and thank you for all the great work that you're doing. You're really inspiring. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Well, have a great evening.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Wow. Mickey. That was awesome. Dives with sharks, does garbage cleanups, told us that we're all eating about a credit card size of plastic every year, and that microfibers rain on us. So this is why it's important for us to understand on how to keep us sustainably healthy. Okay. We all need to be proactive. We're all personally responsible for our future, for ourselves presently here. We have to be more conscious consumers. I like to use the phrase prosumer, even though prosumer doesn't mean anything at all right now. Prosumer basically means that you're proactive in making your purchase. You've investigated it. You know it's sustainable. You know it has minimal adverse impact in our environment. Because at the end of the day, the last thing we want to do is create more of a mess for our kids in the future. That's the biggest thing. That's why we're all here. I mean, I'm sitting in front of this computer all uncomfortable and such. I don't like doing this. but actually I do. The interviews I have a blast with. Sitting in front of a computer by myself right now, not so much. But the net of it is that we have a personal responsibility, and we have to get this message out there, and we have to be proactive about what we're doing. Get involved in these organizations. Get involved with cleanups. Don't walk over that piece of garbage you see on the floor. I don't care if it wasn't yours. Pick it up. If it's a little gross, find something to pick it up with. We have to care about this, and especially our oceans. I mean, that's why I have this banner behind us with the anchor, and it says nautical on that side, whatever, this side. I'm all backwards because of the camera. Life below water. This is the life of land. And if we don't protect the life below water, we're going to have a hard time with maintaining sustainability on land. That's why we identify this. We want to make sure that we can bring as much solutions as possible to bring to you guys. You heard from 3 phenomenal groups, great experts on the show. And at the same time, I just want to thank all of the entertainers as well. You guys were phenomenal. You kept the pace of this show moving nicely and the transition nicely. Great. I mean, Zach, you're awesome. Waylon, you kept me calm during crisis. And again, I just want to throw a big, giant shout out to Steve. Steve saved my butt big time tonight. He when I was losing everything of all my technical stuff failing, and I'm not a tech guy and I'm just running around unplugging, plugging, and all this crazy stuff, he jumped in and made sure that we still had a show. That was awesome. So thank you so much again, Steve. Our last guest, unfortunately, will not be able to make it. Maybe he's having technical difficulties as well. So he's not on with us right now. So we're going to close out the show early. I'd like to close out the show with the SDG video that we did at the beginning of the month. And I just want to notify all of you guys too. We're hosting another beach cleanup in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be communicating with these different organizations about other events that they're doing as well, and start promoting all of these different events all over the place. So no matter where you are in this country, we're going to have something for you guys to get involved with on a weekly basis. So don't talk and say you want to live with impact and create purpose and not get involved. I'll call you guys out as a hypocrite. So the net is, let's start getting involved. Let's start working together. Let's start building our community. Let's start being a collective as one. So to that, thank you guys all for joining the Planting Seeds of July, SDG number 14. Kush, Charlie Moore is out. Have fun, everyone. Have a great evening. And we're going to close out with this SDG video. And Steve, Movers, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys again. Hey guys, Charlie Moore here with Kush, keeping us sustainably healthy. Each month, we're going to bring you guys a new sustainable development goal to teach you guys on how you can make a difference and impact in your own community and in your own lives. This month, we're introducing SDG number 14, Life Below Water. This is July. We want to be at the ocean. Let's focus on keeping it clean. We want to reward you guys by being part of the Kush movement. So by posting pictures of your daily activity, joining in, tagging us at Kushwear, and hashtagging Kush Movement, you're entering yourself in for a chance to win some giveaways from us as Kush, just as a thank you for participating. Oh, I didn't know I was coming back. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for that.
That's all right. I didn't know what to do either. I wasn't sure.
Oh, so Steve, I want to talk. You know what? While we're here, let's talk for a moment.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about that conundrum. Let's talk about that conundrum. So
yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. Thank you.
Made me wish I got a haircut earlier today. I didn't have to wear my hat.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. You really crushed it. So I already shared with what was going on in my mind, how I almost broke every single electronic device that existed in my office. What was going on in your mind during all of this?
I was just hoping you could figure it out so I didn't have to go up on the screen and do an interview of someone when I didn't know what I was talking about.
I can't wait to watch back. I'm sure you did phenomenal.
I let them do most of the talking.
I see comments here. Everyone, we love Steve. Go Steve. I think you did a pretty damn good job of
That's
that.
just they're my friends supporting me.
Well, Steve, dude, thank you, man. This you really saved tonight's butt for
Cool.
doing this. I hope you have a great evening. We could cut out early this evening since we don't have our last guest.
Yeah,
So,
we get 25 extra minutes.
25 extra minutes, man. So you can feel free to close it out, play a video, whatever you want to do. It's in your hands to end this.
Cool.
All right.
I guess I don't really have any videos queued up unless you can think of something that you want.
Yeah, you know what? I'll find a cool one. Let's see. Guys, be patient with us for a second. This is all happening.
Yeah, we're just hanging out tonight.
Yeah. Mickey is cool, man.
I love Mickey's. Everything she was doing. I loved talking to her the other day about what she was going to be talking about today. Just doing that little pre-interview. She
Dude.
already emailed me.
Wow.
Just emailed me now.
Everyone was phenomenal on the show. All the guests were phenomenal. Great energy. I'm really upset that I kind of lost it with the during the whole plastic project. It's just
Things happen. COVID happened.
No, COVID.
We can't be together in a studio, so
no.
We make the best with what we've got.
So let's see. I will find a. You know what? Since we're going to end it with this. Right after this, Steve, we can kill it out. Since we don't have an artist, and an artist would have been our last, entertainer for the evening. Steve, I'm going to send this to you right now in your Facebook. So here's an artist profile of something that we did back in the day where we hosted the American Beatbox Championship. So I figure we'll end on a high note then, which is unexpected. I thought we were ending it right before, but this is
that's crazy that you did this in 2013, which is the date on the video, because we have someone who is very involved with the Long Island beatboxing community. And they do events in I think they do them at Amityville Music Hall. And he was just talking to us about it like 2 days ago. And we
need to get him on board because there's a whole new genre that I'm bringing into beatbox called Beatbot. So you guys are the first to hear of what Beatbot is. And I'm not going to tell you actually what it is, just the word. It's Beatbot.
Beatbot.
But Beatbot's going to be it. But this is to show you guys 2013, we hosted the American Beatbox Championship. So you guys enjoy. I'm out. Have a good evening, guys.
All right. And then I'll cut it after that.
Take it easy.
Good night, Charlie.
Good night, Steve.
Hey, my name is Spencer Polanca. I'm a beatboxer from Manhattan, New York. Check this out.
Hey guys, it's Better Be. I'm from Seattle, Washington.
Yo, what's up? My name is Keelan Malady. I'm from Long Island.
Yo, this is Mike Lackey from Fort Worth, Texas.
My name is Gene from Boston, Massachusetts. What's going on? My name is Gray Matter. My name is Kenny Urban. I'm from Monroe, Connecticut.
I'm Jay Flo from Long Island, New York.
I'm Bloomer. I'm from Minnesota, and I'm at the American Beatbox Championships.
I got into beatboxing just a couple years ago.
I love beatboxing because ever since I started 2 years ago, my life has been exponentially better.
I started beatboxing because I started doing a lot of production.
I started beatboxing about 12 years ago. I started it when I had ADD and boredom, pretty much.
So I've been involved with music basically my whole life, starting with preschool church choir.
Got into beatboxing about 6 years ago in high school. Started kind of as a party trick. My friends rapping to it, me just making the beat, and I fell in love with it.
I've been beatboxing for about 2 years, seriously. But I've been making noises my whole life, crazy noises.
Beatboxing gave me a job that I love.
I managed some artists. I managed a studio here and a branding company. Started beatboxing very naturally without really knowing what it was. But I saw somebody beatbox and perform, and it got me interested.
I just saw Reaps One. That's the first beatboxer I ever saw a couple years ago, and the first beat I ever learned was 4 samples. I'm sure everybody knows that one.
This great graffiti artist by the name of Mr. Blob, and they were like, "Yo, listen, you got to submit a video."
Through the years, I picked up all these different instruments, piano, drums when I was 10, and violin.
People first thought it was annoying, just simple beats, but eventually, with practice and dedication, I mean, it could be anything, just like anything. So
I found the whole beatbox scene over in Europe and just spent hours in like YouTube, and eventually it became really addictive. I kept doing it, and then over the years, I wanted to really just put practice and skill and time into it, and it became more of a passion.
But it's just completely taken over my life, and I'm glad to be here in New York.
I heard beatboxing and I was like, well, I want to try that. And now it's 6 years later and I'm doing this.
It's all two guys doing beatboxing on stage. So I started learning and I've been beatboxing for almost 9 years, about to be 21. So yeah, so now I'm going to spit some freestyle and I'm from Seattle again. Here we go, Thunder Beat.
I'm right now at the American Beatbox Championships 2013. Congratulations to all the competitors and shout outs to Kush Walkware.